It's time for TWiT This Week in Tech. This is going to be a fun, long quarantine show. This is a show you're going to want to listen to with the whole family, and it'll take all day to listen to because we've got the best talkers in the world on. Rene Ritchie from MacBreak Weekly and his own new YouTube channel is here. Oh, Doctor, going to sermonize a little bit. Oh, and JJ Stone, and then the wonderful Georgia Dow from anxietyvideos.com. All of us together will talk about Zoom. We'll talk about the smart toilet. We'll talk about what's going to happen to some companies. Some will be strong coming back. Some won't. The Passover Seder, Zoom style, and the loss of one of the world's great mathematicians to COVID-19. It's all coming up next on TWiT. This Week in Tech comes to you from TWiT's LastPass Studios. You're focused on security, but are your employees? LastPass can ensure they are by making access and authentication seamless, whether they're working in the office or remote. Visit lastpass.com/TWiT to learn more.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
This is TWiT, This Week in Tech, episode 766, recorded Sunday, April 12th, 2020. Zoom, but use protection. This Week in Tech is brought to you by Molecule. Molecule is reimagining the future of your health with clean air, starting with the air purifier. For 10% off your first air purifier order, visit molecule.com and enter the code TWIT10. And by Casper. Casper is a sleep brand that makes expertly designed products to help you get your best rest one night at a time. Get $100 towards select mattresses by visiting casper.com/TWIT1 and using the promo code TWIT1 at checkout. And by Worldwide Technology. Worldwide Technology's Advanced Technology Center is like no other testing and research lab in the world, with more than $500 million of equipment, including solutions from key partners like VMware. And the ATC is virtual, so you can access it 24/7. To learn more and get insights into all that it offers, go to wwt.com/TWiT. And by Eero. Blanket your whole home with fast, reliable Wi-Fi. Eero is the Wi-Fi your home deserves. Go to Eero.com/TWiT, enter the code TWIT at checkout. You'll get free overnight shipping with your order. It's time for TWiT This Week in Tech, the show where we talk about the week's tech news. We have assembled a panel of people who know and love each other. So this will be like your family Zoom call today. Joining us from Canada, Rene Ritchie at imore.com. Hello. Oh, no. Oh, whoops. No, not imore.
Oh. Yep.
Whoops.
Look, this is what happened since I last was on, Leo. Everything changes.
He's at youtube.com/Rene Ritchie. He's left imore to start his own YouTube venture. How's it going? You're about week 3 or 4 in?
Yeah, I mean, it's going pretty well. I have no way to judge because I worked for a big media company for 10 years. So this is all just new and exciting to me. But people seem happy and I'm happy. So
Good.
I'm going to take that as a victory.
That's the most important thing. And those of us who are independent media folk just wish you the best of luck.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Good luck to
Best
you.
of timings.
Your timing is not awesome, but maybe it is. It's funny because some podcasts initially said viewership had gone down, but I think that some podcasts and YouTube are going up a lot. Slate says theirs are up 40%.
They're watching videos.
And I think YouTube's probably going up a lot. That's Dr. O and JJ Stone from IQMZ. Oh, you looking pretty today.
They call me Dr. Hamilton. I'm just here as a TWiT fan. Is that how the song goes? I can't remember.
Yeah, for somebody who hates the show, you actually nailed it.
I don't hate the show. Don't put that in the actual record.
He meant this show. He meant this
Send
show.
all of your hate to @ODoctor.
That's Georgia Dow. I love Georgia Dow.
Yes,
Anxiety-videos.com. And Georgia's doing something very generous today. You're giving out your email address, which is incredibly risky. Why?
Well, in case people need to just reach out. Some people are stuck in, they need to kind of reach out. That's what I do for a living. And I think that during times like this, it'd be nice. And since Renee's wearing his orange hoodie, wait, I have
Look at that.
orange hoodies. So we will be
Nice.
matching orange hoodies here.
Beautiful.
There we
I
go.
wish I had
I'm
an
glad
orange
she didn't put
hoodie.
my address up like last time. She actually used her own address this
George
time.
is a licensed marriage and family therapist. And right? Am I right?
I do couples counseling, but mostly I deal with
Are
anxiety
you
and
LC?
depression.
Are you what? It's in Canada, so the license.
I'm a licensed psychotherapist.
licensed psychotherapist. That's the,
It's metric psychology.
It's metric.
It's a little bit different.
So it's okay. And yeah, I think that's really nice. Georgia at Westmount Therapy. No, Georgia at WestmountTherapy.com. Okay. And so if you're feeling a little rugged, if things are tough, I know I have a close friend who's, really about to kill her husband right now. So, and of course, it's hard.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so
Does
hard.
the name rhyme with Misa?
It's so hard.
So I am thrilled. Yes, it happens to be my wife, as a matter of fact. So yeah, it's really good to reach out and get some help. And there are lots of ways to do that, but I think it's wonderful. George is a really wonderful person and a very talented therapist. So it's nice to have that. Westmount Therapy.
We're
Georgia,
surrounded by Canadians, Uncle Leo.
Oh my God, it's true. Look at that
We're
mask.
keeping you warm.
That is a great
True.
mask.
Is that a Canadian mask? Are you filtering out the Canadian?
Oh, look, first of all, I'm trying to keep y'all safe because Canada's numbers are down. So I prepared myself for this episode. I'm going to spray, sanitate most of my comments and statements. Let me take this off because the audio listeners will get mad.
Yeah, you sound a little muffled, I admit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sound like
Audio
me.
is important. Audio
On
is
my
more important.
Instagram, if somebody wants to pull up my Instagram, I have a video with like half of my masks because I'm an owner of like 23 masks.
Are you making them yourself?
I mean, I'm not making them, but I'm getting them in these streets and giving them out to individuals that need them because I have some friends that are
So nice of
have
you.
immune issues and
So
things
nice
like
of
that,
you.
and they can't get a hold of masks.
Can I show you what I'm doing? I went out and I got a sewing machine. Lisa did a little video of me at my sewing machine. I'll play it for you.
All right, so Leo has decided to start sewing because he's going to make
Why is her
masks
voice
for all
sped
of
up?
our healthcare workers and people that need one.
I've got polka dots. I'm making
We
a
sound
polka
like
dot mask.
And
cartoon
thank
characters
God his
here.
mom's here because he doesn't know how to sew.
My mom's teaching me via
So
Skype.
This is going to be a
That is
fun
awesome.
experience.
Okay.
Leo, the bobbin, Leo.
Did you tell Lisa all the things I said about designing it?
Not yet, but that's coming later. I'll first learn how to sew. Mom, I have a more
Do you have a
important
helium filter in there, Leo?
Something's going on there. But anyway, you get the idea. I bought a sewing machine. Now, I am not at making masks, but I think that one is very attractive. Did you get a friend to make that one, Owen? Or that's a nice looking mask.
That one I actually ordered like a crap ton of them from Hawaii from a guy on Etsy because Hawaii's COVID numbers are down. I also buy things sourced in the proper areas when I'm buying things online. I look at where they come from just because it doesn't make sense if you're buying stuff from a hot spot and the person making them might have it.
Well, you can wash them. Here's
Oh, yeah, you can
Owen's.
wash 'em. I
Here's
still gotta
Owen's
open 'em.
Mask Master TikTok. Everybody.
Oh, there you go.
Whoa. You got a few of those. Yeah, I know.
If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, Uncle Leo.
If you stay ready, you ain't got to
Some
get
people are
ready.
using underwear and they just flip them around, and so they use their underwear as making masks.
Hey,
Is this
Seriously,
that whole
not
Charlie
used.
D'Amelio
I'm
thread
assuming
started?
they're clean.
The key phrase there was
They're
flip
clean
them
underwear.
around.
They-
You clean them, flip them around.
And then I saw this picture, by the way. I have been following you on Instagram. Is that you?
that tis I,
Holy cow.
young Thundercat.
As a young man,
10th,
huh?
10th grade, 11th grade.
Wow. You were kind of ripped.
I was. That's when I was wrestling. I wasn't like, that was before I got hurt. I got hurt my senior year and I had deteriorated disc in my back and I blew up like a whale.
Yeah.
And it was all downhill from there. Guess what? I still like chips and snacks, and the gym still isn't my friend.
That's okay.
So
that's okay. We're all happy now. I've gained a lot of weight
I just realized for the first time, like you always see ninjas on TV, and you realize they can't dress like that because everybody would know they're a ninja. And now finally they can dress like ninja again, and we won't know that they're ninja.
I actually think it's going to be challenging because I think we're all going to start wearing masks. I wouldn't be surprised if we, at least for the next year, a lot of people wear masks. For one thing, it's going to break face recognition. That's going to be a hidden benefit. Right?
There's a lot of...
my phone doesn't know who I am anymore.
Yeah. Not a
but
bad
don't they
thing.
just think they'll do eye and gait analysis? They'll use this part of the face geometry and figure out something, because all they need is a triangle, and we took away 1 point. So they'll just figure out, like, oh, your earlobes now. It's eyes and earlobes, and we're fine.
Don't give many
I don't know
ideas.
if earlobes are that diverse.
Look, I saw that toilet ID thing, and apparently everything about humans are diverse.
Oh, that's just horrible. That's just horrible.
Did you see that, Leo, the Stanford toilet?
Yes, I did. I've been trying to avoid this story for the last week.
Have you been? We're talking about it now.
Yeah, I guess I can't avoid it any longer. It's a toilet that recognizes you from the wrong side.
Yes. For medical purposes.
Not only that, apparently it also, weighs and analyzes your poop.
It'll do stream analysis on urine, and it has a neural network trained by doctors.
A new meaning for stream analysis that I had not anticipated on this show. Okay.
And it's got a neural network trained by doctors to identify potential problems in feces as well.
It's actually a great idea.
It's a Stanford thing.
It's a great idea. And in
How
case
much is this toilet?
No, it's not.
It's not available yet.
It's a patent. Yeah.
It's not available yet. Why is it a terrible idea, Georgia?
Because we already have enough biometrics that we're giving away to companies. Do we really need this last moment of privacy to also be given away?
But people don't report right, Georgia. That's the whole thing, is that people don't report properly, and this is going to do the reporting for you.
Could you imagine the episode
There's stuff
on CSI?
I don't want to know.
Yes. The episode on CSI.
Yes. Which one, though? CSI
toilet.
Yeah. We now have his
CSI Las Vegas, New York, or Miami. Which one would it have? It's got to be Miami, right?
It'd probably be Miami.
No,
David Caruso.
I remember at CES this year, there was a pod that you would get into, and it would do all sorts of biometric stuff. I think I didn't get in because I think you had to take off your clothes, but which is, of course, as you know, I'm not adverse to. But at the time, I thought maybe not a good idea, and it would do everything like blood pressure. I think it did fecal monitoring. We did all sorts of stuff. This is, if you think about it, Georgia, that's a great diagnostic.
It's an important diagnostic,
We have to have
but I think
privacy
that it's going to be
restrictions.
misused. I don't know. I think like if you go to the doctor,
it never goes to the cloud.
This is a fundamental debate. And if you're ever on Twig, Georgia, you'll get in this with Jeff and Stacy, because they're on Jeff's point of view is, look, you don't ban the technology, you regulate the use of the data. You can't just say, oh, we're not going to have voice assistants, we're not going to have poop recognition because it might be misused. Because those are so valuable. It's like saying, well, let's not have the internet. It might be misused, but what would we do today if we were stuck at home without the internet? So I think the idea is not ban the technology, but regulate the data smog that comes off of it.
I was watching Jordan's video on it, and they said that, she said that even before these neural networks, it was an artist. I forget if it was the one who did all the droopy clock paintings, and I'm blanking on his name.
Salvador Dali.
Dali. Yeah, Dali had identified 45 different patterns for human bums for recognition already, and he said they're even unique amongst twins. So apparently humanity has been investigating this subject for a long time.
Salvador Dali was an expert in bum fingerprinting.
Well, there's that company that does the thing. There's the company where they send you a box, you poop in the tube, you send a box back to them overnight, and they tell you if you have cancer or something like that. So they check your fecal matter or something like that. And it's absolutely very popular with older people. It's insanely popular that people use that service as a screening process.
No, my doctor, little TMI here, but I'll do it anyway because it's important. When you get past a certain age, you have to worry about, especially men, you have to worry about prostate cancer. And there's a PSA test. Actually, this isn't prostate cancer. This is for colorectal cancer. There's a test that involves sending a little bit of poop into your doctor. And I do that every year. My doctor sends me, it's called Fit, and he sends me a Fit kit, and I send it in. And you're right, there's a commercial company doing this. But if your doctor is good, this is part of the screening. I was thinking of prostate, they do a PSA screening. That's a blood test. So these are very valuable tools in diagnosing these cancers or these problems early. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Now, let's get off of poop. Unless you have a final word. If you have a final word,
I'm good. I'm gonna let it go.
It's important. It's important.
Well, now that I want whatever that is you're wearing. That looks like you could nerve toxins.
Stormtrooper.
See, I have that mask too, but I don't play around and waste valuable breaths with that. That's my in case of emergency brake mask. I use that.
That's a biohazard mask, right?
I have a full face shield mask too, but I don't wear those unless I absolutely have to.
Aren't we supposed to reserve that for medical professionals?
I have the goggles that go with it.
Really?
I'm fully set up if need be.
Where did you get that?
So we ordered them right before it kind of hit because they're painter's masks. And this one I believe is N99, I think, N98.
Can you breathe easily in it?
You can breathe in it. It breathes right through the filter, but you can't even smell cooking. And it'll last for a month. Not if you're like using some sort of fumes, like you're spray painting or something, then it won't. But it'll last for a month. So we keep that all set up. And yes, I'm with you, doctor. In case of things get really bad, you have to go to the hospital. We hook up that. We got it on Amazon beforehand, but you can usually get it at a hardware store. There's painter's masks or construction masks.
We were talking about this the last time I was on.
Come back on.
We were.
I remember Uncle Leo were talking about this, and I told you I have the full respirator mask, and people were laughing at me, and now look at everybody.
Yeah, boy, they're not laughing
at me.
It's true. Yeah. It's just you want to be safe. You want to be careful. You want to be safe.
I think it's enough to wear not enough, but it's sufficient to wear a cloth mask.
It's better to wear a cloth mask, but it depends on what you're doing, right? It depends on where you're going and what you're doing, and you might as well be safe.
Would you shave your beard off, Owen, if you had to get a better seal?
You see how thin my beard is? Remember my beard last time you saw it was blue and it was huge.
Yeah.
I took it down because in case of emergency, I got to just shave it down real quick. It's easier, but I did take my beard all the way off for the most part.
So that's serious.
And as George has said, like let's say you got hurt and you had to go to the hospital. That's what I would wear to go to the hospital. I wear these around town, going to the grocery store, stuff like that. But if I had to go to the hospital for something or something was going down, I'd wear that and feel safer about my situation than just these paper masks. Like I said, I got masks everywhere. I just don't know what's going on.
That's that's a surgical mask. Those are very good, though, apparently.
Leo, if you go to Instagram /Rene Ritchie, you can see what I look like outside. I don't. It's not for the squeamish.
Are you in trash bags? I hope you're in trash bags.
No, I should, though. Oh, no, I should actually get an encounter suit like the Vorlons wore in Babylon 5. I think that's my next.
This is good. That's a good outfit.
Yeah.
It's attractive.
I feel like Cobra Commander 1. Like we're all like ninja drones now out there.
Do you think we're overreacting?
The best part of wearing the mask, though, is that everyone else also stays away from you.
Yeah.
Like my husband had to go to a hospital and he wore the full suit mask with the goggles, but everyone else also stayed away from him. He was looked like a stormtrooper.
Sometimes I feel like maybe we're overreacting.
So let me tell you about
overreacting.
Underreacting.
So if from the beginning, a regular thin mask or anything to cover your mouth isn't going to stop you from catching the virus. But what it does do is minimizes your spray out. So if they would have said from the beginning, hey, everybody just cover your face,
would have been better.
We would have cut down on people giving it to other people. You're still not going to stop it. But wearing something like this also cuts down on your viral load. You know how sometimes your kid comes home, they got the flu or the cold and they're dying inside, and then you get it and you're like, it's not that bad, because you got a secondary wind of it that was watered down in a sense. So this helps you water that down. It's not overkill. This is something that we should have been doing from the get-go. It's not that big of an inconvenience when you're out in the streets to wear this. The problem I have is that if you're black, cops are following people in the stores and not letting them go in the stores with
Isn't
these things on.
Isn't that ridiculous? Because you can't wear a mask because that's so ridiculous.
Because I'm black, it's just the extra thing I have to worry about. So that's my only issue with it. But otherwise, I also had someone racially accost me last week, and he would have never said that
he
to
was
me if he
behind
didn't
mask.
have on
Because he was
a
behind
mask and
Yeah.
glasses and a hoodie. Like
Yeah.
he was just using the N-word. I
people
know my
freedom.
heart. If I could have saw his face,
Yeah.
he would have never spoke to me like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, the good and bad about wearing masks. Society, America.
XKCD on the matter.
Yeah.
Homemade
To the rescue.
mask, huh? You think they help? I've read so many conflicting things. What I was doing before was carrying around a big sign that said, quote, "There's a pandemic, so please give me space because I don't want to get sick or make anyone else sick." Problem was I had to write so small to fit, so people kept walking closer to read it. Oops. Yeah, the mask gets it across better. True.
It's true.
They
It's
were
a
also
statement.
saying that when you're outside, if people are exercising like at a high level, like if they're biking or running or jogging, the area of dispersal for them is much bigger. So you have to give them even more space. And so the more you could do to protect yourself, protect your fellow humans, it's polite, but it's also in the best interest of us surviving.
So I want to get back to this issue of, do you ban the technology or do you regulate the side effects? And this is tied in also to COVID because one of the things that we're going to need to do when the quarantine ends is, unless we want to go back into quarantine again and again and again, is keep track of any emergent cases and everybody they've been in contact with, quarantine them. That's containment versus quarantine. You contain the potentially infected people so that the rest of us can go about our business. That's going to take, and in China they're doing it, but they're doing it in an invasive way. They're forcing people to.
In Korea too.
And Korea too. They're putting apps on phones. This week, Apple and Google announced they're going to do a privacy forward voluntary version. So this is a coronavirus tracking system that'll be available mid-month next month on iOS and Android. It's kind of an interesting idea. In fact, this document from Apple and Google is the best way to describe it. You have on your phone something called Bluetooth LE. All modern phones have it. It's not the Bluetooth you use to pair to headphones, but a lightweight, low-energy version of it that does the pairing automatically behind the scenes. So Bluetooth LE is on. You are given each day a unique identifier. And whenever you come near somebody else's Bluetooth LE phone, you beacon out your unique daily identifier to them, not associated with your personality. There's no personally identifiable information exchanged. So here's the example. Alice and Bob meet each other for the first time and have a 10-minute conversation. Then, during that, in the background, their phones are exchanging their identifier beacons. This daily, actually, there's two. There's the personal identifier that's daily, and then there's a 15-minute beacon generated every 15 minutes. And that's so you can, I guess, so you can know what time they met. A few days later, Bob is diagnosed positively for COVID. He voluntarily, all of this is voluntary. You have to have the app. You have to voluntarily say, I'm going to do this. Enters the test result in the app. By the way, the app's not from Google or from Apple. They are publishing an API that health authorities can use, so you'll feel a little bit better about it, right? You won't come from Google or Apple. With Bob's consent, notice again, more consent, his phone uploads the last 14 days of keys of people he's run into, and then they can be notified to go into quarantine themselves. This seems like a good plan with some potential flaws. The biggest flaw is it's voluntary. Georgia, this doesn't bother you, right?
It does bother me. Yeah.
It does.
No, it bothers me.
You don't like
it bothers
this?
me. One is that, so one is that if it's voluntary, then it's not going to work because the people, one is we're lazy. We're not going to volunteer information. If you're planning to go to a party, you're not going to want to tell people. So people are still going to do what they do because we're, inept by nature. The second thing is that it's just one more slip away from our own feelings of privacy. Once we're comfortable with governments tracking us, we will be more comfortable with governments tracking us, and they're not going to give back information afterwards. So it's that kind of comfort level. The third part to this is that it's kind of too late, right? It's everywhere already. If they had enacted this in December or even January, they could have really done a really great job with people quarantine, isolation, being able to get things done.
We missed the initial opportunity to contain. I wish we had.
So now all we're doing is giving up our information for truly nothing. Maybe the second wave, perhaps.
Well, that's the idea. So, Georgia, the theory is if we all shelter in place, as really the whole world is doing right now, at some point the virus activity will go down. It doesn't live independently of humans. So if nobody has it in, let's say, this small area.
It does live independently of humans, though, right? Like it can be kept in animals, right? We think maybe cats, but also the animals that start with.
It could be. It doesn't. Yeah. The cat can't give it to you, but let's say you ate a pangolin for breakfast. Yeah, maybe then. So, but presuming that, okay, it mostly goes away, okay? But what happens is people come and go. So we could say, there's either no or very few cases in Sonoma County. Everybody, you can go outside, but what we need to do is keep an eye out. If somebody gets sick, we immediately need to trace all their contacts and quarantine them so that we don't all have to be quarantined. It's for down the road.
But the problem with that is that people aren't getting tested. So
they will. This
matter? There's not.
Yes, this is all presuming that testing becomes widespread and.
Right, we're giving away our privacy for a system that's not going to work.
You're not giving away your privacy. It's no personally identifiable information.
It makes people comfortable with being personally tracked. What happens during any sort of issue where we feel really scared and fearful? The government kind of goes for this power grab. It happens in all kind of authoritarian governments. It's just really, really common.
9/11. Never.
It did. And do they ever give it back after?
No, Patriot Act is still in effect.
No, of course.
Yes.
So
this bothers me.
Your concern is that this will just be a slippery slope. The government will then use this.
It makes people comfortable with being tracked, and people will give it away and think that this is good. And then after, we'll be more comfortable with the next little step that goes into the next way. And it doesn't really help prevent us from being sick. Like, if people aren't being tested, then what does this even matter? And they're not. Not enough people are being tested, and that's the first thing that they should be dealing with. If they really wanted to stop this spread, everyone would get tested.
Owen J.J. Stone.
I commend you, Uncle Leo, with your spirit of trusting things. First and foremost, telling me that they're not collecting any data and they're not. Somebody can flip a switch and do anything that they want to do. And there's bad apples that do things all the time. So when you say that with such impunity, it makes me giggle. So I understand that you have a hopeful heart and you think that things are going to be helpful the way they are, but they're not. Secondly, so people right now, granted, if testing is available and they're getting tests, but if somebody has a symptom and they just have a cold and they're just, quarantine yourself. Next thing you know, quarantine yourself. And that number could get routed off really quick without somebody even getting checked on. And you say if tests are available, but they're not. And so the system, again, as she said, is too late. So what is it something to do? Just something to put more tracking things on my phone? I already got to worry about TikTok and my daughter out here shaking and dancing every 3 seconds. But now you want me to put low LTE and tell me that it's no big deal? There's no reason for this because it's not going to help us. And unless they're going to come around and round people up in paddy wagons and say, oh, well, we just got a hit that you saw Susie on Tuesday and she might be sick. And now you got to get quarantined. Oh, leave your house because you got 6 kids. Come on with us. We're going to put you in the truck with everybody else who might be sick. I don't know what this is going to do. And it's too late. I'm glad they're kumbaya together, but what's it going to do for me?
Renee?
There's a side effect, though. There's a side effect of this, too.
What do you think?
There's a side effect of this too, and that is, some people for security and privacy reasons don't like to leave Bluetooth LE on. I mean, the companies want us to. It makes our lives easier. It makes your AirPods work, makes your Apple Pencil work, makes it makes a lot of things just work. But we've seen before that companies, everything, not that we go to stores anymore, but when we did, they would use Bluetooth beacons to try to see where we were going within shopping malls. They would try to use them just to maintain, proxy beacons for us. And this, to George's point, it does get people used to broadcasting. Bluetooth LE is designed to continuously pulse outwards so that it can identify that there's something there and then negotiate a handshake if it needs to establish a connection. But we're just going out there pinging. It's like all of us are hot and all of us are on all of a sudden. And I do think that this is a noble endeavor. I think this is something that is meant to do good, but it's always those things, which is how it starts. And I'm not saying don't do this. Obviously, some societies have had a lot of, like Korea, again, is crushing it by doing things like this, but that we should definitely have these conversations and we should be well aware of what it costs us to get this. And we should always put in hard limitations for when they have to come back and beg us to turn it back on again.
Is Korea, what kind of leadership is Korea under?
They're Democratic.
Okay.
They're a little corrupt. They've had some problems.
I mean, who isn't these days, right?
Yeah, but who isn't? Yeah.
And it's also a lot smaller too. So it's them doing it is like asking California to do it.
Right.
But they
You know
were
what I mean?
prepared. Like they believed the coronavirus was coming. They had the first person who got a test for it. Like they saw this coming and they were ready day one with an entire plan to handle it.
But they
and
also
I think, like
did
to George's
mass
point
testing
previously,
right away.
Yeah.
They did mass testing, quarantine
super late.
isolation.
Well,
they took care of it.
I agree
They're
with
not
you.
having parties on the beach.
No, I agree, Georgia.
And-
We would need to. None of this would work unless you had widely available testing, and that's not a situation.
And that's why
we have
doesn't
right
it
now.
seem disingenuous that they're like, ooh, this is really important. This is going to protect us from.
it's what they can
This
do.
is for down the road. What is the alternative?
The alternative is ramp up testing so that everyone gets
Yeah,
tested.
yeah,
We
you have
have
to do that.
drive-through testing sites where you can. Now, again, it should be to everyone. Right now, it's just to if you show any symptoms or you've had contact with someone else, you drive through. They do a little nose swab. They find out right away, and you know whether how safe do you need to be. What about your family? And then we can track it from there. Now, we need to ramp up the amount of people that are being done. I think that we're trying to get to 10,000 a day.
So
but
presuming that we get testing working. Now, Dr. Mom says there's another form of containment called circle containment where you don't need to know proximity. This is a little more draconian. You just say, okay, this guy's got it. Within a 50-mile radius, you all gonna stay home. But it's better than having everybody stay home. See, the issue is, do you want to do this, what we're doing right now, for another year until there's a vaccine?
Yes.
I don't think we can
have
not,
to do
though.
this
I mean,
until
like,
there's
that's what we're going to do?
We have to. I don't think that we have a choice, though.
Well,
this isn't going to go on for another year. Like
it's not. At some point,
So
people are just going to say, screw
Canada,
that.
we may have still systems in place that are going to be restricted. And they've already, Justin Trudeau has already
the
stated
incubation period is so long is the problem. It's not like you don't get sick very quickly. It takes up to 2 weeks, and even before you get that signal, like someone sends you that token back saying, "Oh, I now have the corona," and your phone goes, "Oh, you met someone who has the corona. It was 2 weeks ago. Who have you had?" Like I can just see this thing lighting up like the end of War Games in the movie, where just everything has
and
gone
this
off.
is not. This is not.
Or the game
stop people
pandemic.
from getting it.
The game
We're
plague.
We're all going to get it. Like odds are most of us are going to get this. It's about flattening the curve so that all of our medical professionals, the hospitals are not overrun with people getting it all at the same time.
So you want to just, we'll all get it over a longer period of time. And then in a year, we're going to be able to go out. What's going to happen, Owen, if this containment goes on for a year?
So as it's been stated repeatedly, and I'll state it again for the record, my love for Georgia is at an elite high, and as our other guest compatriots, another Canadian, I will exhume you two from this conversation for 1 second because you guys live in a real fairy tale land where people take care of you. Here, it is the Hunger Games. Okay, we have $1,200 for 6 months. People have lost their jobs. People are going to be losing their homes. People's credit is going to be going through the floor. And if you think that you could contain this country for a minimum of at least 3 more months like this without them burning down the gates and storming everything and setting everything on fire, you're insane. People are going to be breaking into people's homes. They're not going to be able to live or afford to do anything. Unemployment's going to run out because we have a corrupt system that won't just take care of people. So I good luck.
That's a very dystopian point of view you have there.
But it's a factual point of view. People right now are struggling. I have friends in New York that literally are trying to move back home with their parents because they don't know what they're going to do. And their credit is going to be destroyed because they can't afford that crazy apartment with their 3 roommates and the rent. Because
I recognize, I absolutely understand what you're saying. There is a horror show coming economically, but wouldn't it be even a worse horror show if everybody just said, "Oh, screw it, let's all go out"?
Well, again,
we have mass graves now too, right?
I guess it's only a horror show for people my age and older.
And not only that, people are dying all up and down the spectrum. Obviously, people with underlying conditions and older people are higher on that spectrum. But again, when we are a service country, we don't make anything anymore. So if you tell me that restaurants and bars and shops are closed, people cannot make a living. And so and unemployment isn't going to pay for the lifestyle that most working Americans live. So what happens after 3 or 4 months when people's reserves, their spending, their lights get cut off, they have children, they have food? I mean, I'm just saying, I watched every zombie movie possible. This is like a slow roll zombie movie. But sure enough, if things don't change, people are going to start burning
happen?
Things down.
What should happen?
But what happens? What happens if instead of having a $1 trillion bailout for large businesses and companies, we actually took care of the people and they were given bailouts so that they could stay home safely? And then after we figure out a vaccine that works and does not turn us actually into the zombie apocalypse, then we can deal with this after. Like,
Andrew Yang must be laughing right now. You're saying we need a universal basic income for the next 12 months.
I do. Well, we have that happening right now in Canada. And I'm not saying, again, like, I know that we have very differing, systems right now, but it took you get your money in 3 days. Everyone gets taken care of. We stay home. We don't have to worry about people robbing, stealing, starving to death because you are all taken care of. So then we don't have to worry about the amount of money that we would have to throw into the infrastructure for the amount of people that are dying, the doctors, the people that are getting sick, the people that can't work. That works out. And
there's another alternative, by the way.
Isn't that why you pay taxes in the first place?
There's another alternative,
by the way. To be taken care of, not
extinction,
to have
Leo? Are you going to say extinction?
No. China seems to have solved this by being an authoritarian nation and saying, no, too bad about your privacy concerns. You will do this.
We also don't know what their reporting is like, Leo.
Do you believe
But they
what
also
comes
drop
out of
food
China?
off people's doors. They
I believe
stay
it.
home.
I believe
and
it's
they come drop you off food. Like they do anything they want to. I mean, again, believe it or not believe it, you got to take some of that with a grain of salt because they are dictatorship, which you let off with. They could do what they want. They run their own media. It's just like Russia. For the longest time, people were like, Russia doesn't have anything. Because if you're on the media of Russia and you say something they don't want you to say, you're dead. It's not like you get fired. They just kill you and replace you with another blonde Barbie.
So you think it's as bad in China now as it is in the rest of the world?
The Soviet Union had no serial killers until the Soviet Union fell, and then we found out they had a huge amount of serial killers.
It was very common, yeah. Yeah, I mean, these are all fantasy scenarios. We don't really know what's going to happen.
But they're not really fantasy scenarios, are they? Like, there's countries that are already doing this. There's countries that do it better than Canada's doing it, too. I'm not saying go with Canada. I just happen to be here, so I know firsthand how this one's working.
Italy freezing rents and mortgages and credit card payments and things like that. Like, by the time it seems like we react to everything here, it's too late. So we already have things that cascade and go down in a snowball effect. So will we burn down the gates? Probably not, because we're going to have stopgaps, but those stopgaps are going to come late and so many people are going to suffer because of it. So they're talking about,
I should point out that the last time China had a revolution, they rolled tanks in Tiananmen Square and they killed an awful lot of people.
I just feel bad that America spends so much money and doesn't get a lot of, it actually hurts me. You spend so much money and then you don't get as much stuff as anyone who spends much less money gets.
Hey, buddy, we get freedom. We get freedom.
Capitalism is king.
You get to say you have freedom.
We got freedom, fries.
Belgium has freedom.
There's
like 276 states.
Yeah, but
247 of them.
I'm going back to the Google Apple thing. So there are issues with it. Moxie Marlinspike actually weighed in with a tweet stream. Moxie, of course, the creator of the Open Whisper systems, the Signal protocol. He's a security researcher, and his first take was, well, let's look at this from a security point of view. He described in his tweets how it works, and he says, I'll kind of go through some of his points. Published keys are 16 bytes, one for each day. If a moderate number of smartphone users are infected in any given week, that's hundreds of megabytes for all phones to download. That seems untenable. It seems like some kind of personally identifiable information would have to be combined with what the device framework gives you. Admittedly, the device framework is anonymous, but how are you going to figure out where to go to, say, quarantine yourself? He says keys published by a device have to be in turn published to all devices. That's a major denial of service vector, because if anyone can anonymously blast keys, they can create a situation where there's gigabytes of data for all devices in the world to retrieve and compute. In other words, he'd take every cell phone offline for a significant period of time. Not to mention the prank aspect of being able to light up everybody you've been near's devices with, you've been exposed to COVID, without them knowing you're the culprit. You just say you've tested positive, right? Aside for this, the APIs are novel in terms of what becomes possible from the app layer. I'm not super optimistic about opt-in contact tracing becoming a major factor, but I do anticipate someone will end up using this for some other interesting thing his subtext is ad tech. We'll probably use this because it's a clever idea. So are the tech companies, I mean, they're trying to do the best they can. This is Google and Apple trying to do the right thing. And
it's all they can do. They're a software company. They have to, their only response can be software.
Well, I mean, Tim Cook has donated, 20 million masks? I mean, they've started designing and building their own face protection for hospital workers. They're doing what they can.
It's thinner and lighter than 48% of masks on the market.
Yeah. It's beautifully designed. It's very easy to folds flat. There's lots of...
But now I want to talk about the other apocalyptic theory where corporations take over because governments have abdicated their responsibility to citizens and will end up being like the TV show Millennium or Continuum or all of the...
Or like what's happening in Italy where the mafia is giving food to people because the government isn't.
If I look at all the scenarios you've laid out, so Owen says,
please don't.
Revolution. Okay. Georgia says, oh, forget it because it's a privacy invasion and there's no way to test anyway. Renee says, move to Canada. Oh, sorry, you can't. It looks like the Apple+Google thing seems like, admittedly, there's flaws, but isn't this the only reasonable?
It's a tool. It's a good tool to have.
It's better than your guys' scenario.
It's literally Seinfeld. What you just said is Seinfeld. It's a story about nothing because it doesn't matter because it's opt-in and we don't have the testing for it. So it's cool and it sounds great. Cookies to you. Go ahead and make it, Apple. Thanks for coming together and doing something great. I appreciate it. Check back with me in 3 months and let me know how it goes.
Double thumbs up. I was waiting for the double thumbs up. Good job.
You guys are good. You guys are good. Hang on for a sec. We're going to take a little break. Georgia Dow is causing great anxiety. Thank God. You can email her or go to her anxiety-videos.com and download some very relaxing and informative videos to calm your nerves. Are you doing anything for quarantine specifically?
I do Skype sessions. So
nice.
We do phone and Skype sessions, and most of my people do it that way, which is nice. It's actually, in some ways, comforting because you don't have to leave. So
yeah. Owen J.J. Stone. Oh, doctor, we call him. He's not a doctor, but he plays one on TV.
I'm just here to eat up Uncle Leo's hopes and dreams. Let me put on my bed so I can keep
a little bit of condiments.
I'm glad he's got a job. That's all.
Let me dab a little morsel of hope.
It's good you're working.
Go ahead and appreciate that hope you had there, brother.
You're eating my hopes and dreams.
He started off with Hamilton, and now he's going on. That was the appetizer.
Man. Am I going to be like in the dumps at the end of this show? You're going to have anything uplifting to say, Owen?
Yes.
I definitely have uplifting stuff. You're not in the show with uplifting all the time. I'm here for reality, Uncle Leo.
Reality is what you bring.
And you live in the bubble zone. You're semi-protected up in your cows and grass-fed part of California.
Well, now I'm thinking I ought to get a shotgun at least.
I'm in New Jersey, bro. I'm in the fire pits, okay?
I know.
New York is raining down upon me every day. I check the stats, bro. So I ain't got time for hopes and dreams. I got reality out here, okay? I got the...
What do you think your life...
barbecue sauce on hopes and dreams, Leo. Can't put barbecue sauce on hopes and dreams.
Oh. That's right. And Renee Ritchie, who is, like me, an optimist.
Yes. I don't believe that cynicism is intelligence, Leo. I don't believe negativity is honesty. I believe that we can uplift ourselves and at least we'll die smiling.
I believe that you look good in orange, Richie. I believe you
Thank you, sir. This is Nintendo in honor of fun and games.
Let's take a little break. You know, I'm so mad because my son has the Nintendo Switch and I can't play Animal Crossing. He won't let me have it. He says, oh, no, you got to play that game all day, every day. You got to monitor your village and your people and all that stuff.
You like licked it and goes, oh, infected. You can't have it.
You can't have my Switch. I'll never get it back. He says, no. But I want.
You can't buy them right now, so.
No, I know, but I have one. But it's Michael's now. He's kind of co-opted
kids have mine. I don't know how that happens.
That's what happened. I bought it. I had it. It was for me, and I bought it, and I bought Breaking Wind and all of that stuff, or whatever it is. Follow the Zelda Wind or whatever.
Exactly Breaking Wind. That's a I think that's the wrong kind of game,
Zelda
Leo. I'm
called?
just saying.
What's the Zelda? Zelda the Wind Maker.
Call of the
Wind. Call of the Wind. That's no better. It's the same. It's what I just said. The wind calls me. I hear it.
Something stinks here.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild. That's the same.
It's in the store, Leo. There's
Breaking
peppermint,
Wind and
cinnamon, and Breath of the Wild.
Breaking Wind
Uncle
is
Leo.
a different thing. It's a different type of game.
That's Breaking Bad, George. You're thinking of Breaking Bad.
Let's get into paying these bills, Uncle Leo.
Thank you. I want to talk about a way to make your air cleaner and better, the Molecule. Molecule is an amazing device. We have them all over the place at home and here in the studio because Molecule does something really interesting. Now, I know there are people who are saying in other places, oh, no, but they aren't testing the PICO capabilities, the photoelectrochemical oxidation, because we can't. It's too expensive. Let me tell you, if you go to Molecule's website and read the white papers, a really interesting test from the Berkeley labs, the government labs, Department of Energy run labs at the Lawrence Livermore labs at Berkeley. They tested the Molecule and they tested their PICO claims. PICO uses breakthrough science to break down viruses and pollutants, things like volatile organic chemicals, on a molecular level. It traps them and destroys them with ultraviolet light. It's really incredible. It actually makes your air better because it destroys indoor air pollutants at a molecular level. They've have tests, and you'll see these white papers on their website from the University of Minnesota Particle Calibration Lab and Intertech, a nationally recognized lab, and now the new one from the Berkeley labs. Particles as small as 0.1 microns, 100 nanometers, were removed by the Molecule Air and the Air Mini during the 25-minute test duration. The particle capture of larger particles dropped from about 3,500 to 600 in less than 25 minutes. The science speaks. The Molecule works, but it's more than just science. It's my own personal experience. I know that's anecdotal, but I tell you, I know when the Molecule's been turned off or unplugged. Lisa does too. She wakes up, she says, I got a headache. Check the Molecule. Oh, Michael unplugged it. Molecules technology has been tested by science, tested by real people, and it's given allergy and asthma sufferers around the country an all-new experience. This is a bad time for allergies right now in Petaluma. It's awful. But thanks to the Molecule, we sleep better. Molecule provides air purification for the whole home across a range of products, whether it's the Molecule Air for large rooms, the Molecule Air Mini for smaller rooms. You could choose the unit that's best for your space or put together a bundle that provides air purification for your entire area. And if you are in a sealed office, this is a must-have. A must-have. 10% off your first order right now. Go to molecule.com, MOLEKULE.com. The offer code is TWiT10 for 10% off. Molecule.com, TWiT10. It really works. It's really a remarkable technology. It's not a HEPA filter. It's better. Molecule.com. Offer code is TWiT10. Owen J.J. Stone, Mr. O'Docta, I've known you for a long time. I've always seen you as an honest, a deep, a powerful man, mostly powerful. Would you he's muted. Are you there? Is it me? It was us. Are you?
It was you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there he is.
You can hear me.
There's that voice. There's the
Powerful
voice.
mute man.
Would
That's
you use Zoom for your next video conference?
What's Zoom?
Georgia Dow, would you?
I've never used it. I won't use it. I just spoke to my daughter about it, and the trash that a child explained to me how trashy it is, I definitely won't be using it.
Really?
She's using it for school, and her first plug, Raising the Ninja is back. We're doing video now.
Nice.
I got 3 episodes in the can. You guys could check it out. But I actually checked on my child because I'm a horrible parent, and she gets pretty much A's and B's, so I don't ever ask her about school or care. But I said the other day on the show, I said, so what's this Zoom thing like? She's like, well, we're in the classroom with the other kids, and kids have dogs going on in the background or siblings running around crazy. And then it takes over when the teacher's trying to talk to us. So I can't ever understand or hear what the teacher's saying. And I'm like, why don't they hit mute? She's like, I hit mute when the teacher's speaking, but other kids don't know how to use computers and they don't know how to do that. So the teacher's talking, then you can't hear the teacher. Teacher's talking, then you can't hear the teacher. And I'm like, well, that's ridiculous.
Well, you're not alone. The New York City schools banned Zoom. Google banned Zoom. Of course, they have a competing product called Google Meet.
Yeah.
SpaceX and NASA won't use Zoom because it's insecure. Georgia,
Apple uses WebEx.
do you use Zoom for your psychotherapy? You use Skype, you said.
I don't. I try to use FaceTime, or we do Skype, or we do phone calls. And Skype, I would rather do FaceTime than not. Interestingly enough, though, the Order of Psychology in Quebec is using Zoom. So I'm like, when I'm being audited, which is happening, yay, a lot of fun, they're going to be doing it through Zoom. And I'm like, I'm going to be having a chat with them at the end of the audit so that I'm done and I don't have to worry about annoying them, how this is really an unsafe system to be able to use to talk to all the different therapists. So yeah, kind of interesting. I'd rather not, but there's not many options for things that work really well. Zoom is really easy to use. And so I think because of that, it takes over, because there's not a competing product that is as simple to be able to, you just send a link, you go in and you're there.
I think it's possible to use Zoom. You got to teach people to mute, for instance. You got to set up the settings so that people can't Zoom bomb. Admittedly, Zoom had problems. I was encouraged because this week, Alex Stamos, who I consider to be a top-notch security guy, he was security at Yahoo, left when he found out that Yahoo had been hacked, but the boss didn't tell him.
Yes.
He was security at Facebook, left. Seems like he's here. He's present in a lot of car wrecks. He left when they found out about Cambridge Analytica, but I think he's really widely considered to be really good.
He goes to help and then leaves when they won't let him.
Yeah, because he wants to make it safe. He says, I got a phone call from Eric Yuan, Zoom's founder and CEO. This was last week after Zoom. You know, Zoom went from 20 million daily active users in December to 200 million in March. And so
insane.
They were a business product, and they were optimized for ease of use. They weren't optimized for security.
I would argue that they were optimized for growth hacking and not optimized for security or privacy.
Yeah,
they wanted to be as easily adopted as possible, as fast as possible.
You and I on MacBreak Weekly some months ago talked about the really nasty flaw that Zoom introduced on Macintoshes, because when Zoom was installed on a Mac, it opened up a web browser, created a web browser with an open port. The idea was it makes it easy the next time you're in a Zoom meeting, even if you want to install it, you just click a link and Zoom will download and run. So it was about ease of use, or maybe growth hacking. But they were told about it. They didn't remove it. Apple actually had to push out a patch to fix it. So that's nasty.
Yeah. And they also
didn't
lied about their end-to-end encryption. They're like, oh, we're end-to-end encrypted inside Zoom, but that's not end-to-end. That's middle to middle, folks.
Yeah, to us. Yeah, we can see what you. But in their defense,
on the right, but not the left.
It's in the nature of video conferencing, because you could have end-to-end encrypted as your call comes into the Zoom server from everybody. But at some point, the Zoom server is mixing the call. It can't do that in encrypted conversation.
Yeah, well, you just don't want a person in the middle attack between you and Zoom. Like, you don't want someone sitting out on your balcony,
I agree.
Recording what you're saying.
And actually, the ultimate irony, because Senator Richard Blumenthal, the Democratic senator who is supporting the Earn It Act, which of course is the back door to getting rid of all encryption in the United States, has dinged Zoom for saying they don't have end-to-end encryption. Dick.
But he doesn't understand this stuff. He just
clearly.
I mean, like most politicians, they don't understand technology. They want political. I did a Zoom chat this week. Like I told you before on MacBreak Weekly that I will not use Facebook. I will not use Zoom. But because of the times we're living in, if my family or someone else reaches out to me and we have to use Zoom, I'll do it. And so there was a charity stream this week to raise money for COVID-19. It was a bunch of educational YouTubers playing Jackbox, and they used Zoom. And because I want to help with this, I used Zoom for it. I'm not going to go out of my way to use it. I'm not going to ever start one, but I don't think I have the luxury of being principled and refusing to use these technologies right now.
I'm encouraged because Stamos said he's going to come on as a consultant. He said Yuan asked him if I'd be interested in helping Zoom build up its security, privacy, and safety, and I readily agreed. So I think Stamos understands how important Zoom is right now. And I get the sense that he gets the sense from Yuan that Yuan's committed to this. Now, watch carefully. Stamos will be the canary in the coal mine. Because just like at Yahoo and Facebook, if you see a post from Stamos saying, I'm out of here, now we know.
Well, it's just what's the DNA of the company? What's the culture of the company?
Exactly.
Like at Apple, and I'm only saying Apple because that's the company I know best, but the other companies might do this too. They have a concept called private by design, and the privacy group and the security group, there's a couple of groups that have like almost unlimited power. The performance team, which can take your code away and say it's wasting battery. The security team can take your code away and say there's an exploit. The privacy team has to approve every stage of design. And you can't like get to the end and say, oh, we're going to go back and retrofit privacy. Every stage of go forward on the project has to be private. And a company like Zoom isn't used to it. They were just go to market, go to market, go to market. And it's really hard. Like if you're an engineer, it's so, I've got to check for, I've got to audit. I've got to make, it puts so much more barrier to delivery. But it's imperative to at least have, like, I'm not saying everyone has to run like Apple, like there are whole different models, but you can't have like vectors for easy attack on your users just because you're negligent in auditing your code from the start.
I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Remember that the company is an American company. They're in Silicon Valley, but all the coders are in China. They're 3 Chinese companies. At one point, Zoom routed all the traffic through China, but that seems to have been an error. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because we do need something that's easy to use. Little PSA, we've talked about Jitsi before. I use Jitsi. It's an open source product. It was trivially easy for me to put Jitsi on my Debian server at my house. In fact, it's twit.team. I created a server. It's HTTPS. It uses Let's Encrypt. That's all built into Jitsi. Only I can start a meeting. Don't all run over there because I was worried about killing my server. But it makes it very easy. Plus, you don't need to install any software. I can send a web address, twit.team/family, let's say, to my family and say, click this, and you're in. And that's all you need to do. So that is as easy to use as Zoom. It doesn't have all the features. You can't change your desktop background or your wall, the background behind you. You can't blur your camera. Oh, actually, you can blur your camera. Don't. So there is an alternative. But good luck trying to get people to use it because I have tried.
Don't you think like they dropped the ball too? Like it's interesting. Like Slack, there was so many products that were close to Slack, but Slack really filled a niche in the market in a way that made people want to use it. And they were like Google had 8 different versions of Zoom, and Microsoft had Skype and Teams. Like, there were so many products on the market, and Zoom just ate their lunch.
Yeah, I don't understand why. Now Skype has just announced that they are going to respond to this a little bit. They're going to have a no install version of Skype that you can use. You don't have to have a Skype account. It'll be a link-based option for free video calls. And Skype is Microsoft. I don't know if you could say privacy by design, but
they've gotten better. They fixed some of the things that, but they were famous for saying that they're not going to encrypt, and that's why they didn't get HIPAA clearance like FaceTime did for a while. Yeah. So you have to it depends on what you care about and what you don't care about.
There is, I believe, a HIPAA version of Zoom, by the way, that you can pay for. Yeah.
Could you do me a favor, Uncle Leo?
Yeah.
CyberPro in the chat made a good point. Go ahead and make a fancy Zoom video. I only need it to be 3 minutes long, and I need it to be the top 5 things you should do with Zoom. I believe I would do it myself, but I believe a silver fox like yourself is more trustworthy and more appealing on the eye. So if you go ahead and put that out, I'll make sure that Leah sends it to all her little school friends and teachers. You'll be a viral sensation on YouTube.
I think we already
make sure you get that done this week.
I think
or
we
give me
already
the
did.
clip.
No, I think we.
Then send me the clip. All right, just cut it out. Somebody send it to me.
Did Karsten? Maybe you know. We had I said I won't do it. I'm going to let the other hosts do it. But Jason and Micah. We have a video. We had all the hosts in Ant got together, suggested all of their tips for secure conferencing, and Micah made a video. Where is that, Karsten? Where can we?
Micah's video. Can I just say that's like one of the cutest videos I've seen, where he's putting all his green screens behind him, and he's putting on his shirt. And he's telling you to dress right. I was cracking up so hard because I'm like, if you don't take that blurry background off with the microphone and the microphone's disappearing,
Micah cannot not be cute.
Micah,
he cannot not be
adorbs.
Yeah, he cannot not be.
I would. Totes. I don't know. It isn't exactly what you're looking for, which I think would be a good thing to do. Which is the 5 things that you should do to
very direct
your
to the
Zoom
point.
Conference work. A lot of people have done that. I mean. TechCrunch, John Constantine did one. There's an Ars Technica article.
Do I have to read it?
Yeah, and
it's not the same.
It's more technical.
There's The Verge did a phenomenal one about just how to make yourself look good on videos. I'm blanking on her name. It's their video producer who did it, and she's just amazing at this stuff. And it's like, don't tilt your camera down, do this, don't put your camera there. It's like 2 minutes long, very popish, and everyone should watch it so that you look better than your friends and career mates.
Yeah, we tweeted it. Let me
That's what really is important.
This is our big problem.
Just make sure you look better.
We tweeted it, but I don't know if tweeting really is a very good way to get something out like that. Maybe we'll put it on the on the front page. I'm scrolling back through twitter.com/twit, which is confusing by itself. I don't know. We're doing a lot of stuff with the, what's that?
You guys are killing it with content right now. You got AMAs every other day.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of stuff because we got nothing else to do.
The AMAs were terrific. I'm really enjoying them.
You did one. Was yours last week or this week? I forgot.
Mine was last week.
With Mary Jo.
It turned out really well. This week is Inako, Andy.
Yeah, Andy did it with Jeff Jarvis. Jason Howell hosted. Yeah, we're trying to do it. Ask Me Anything with our hosts.
And
that's right.
Nobody asked me in Georgia.
Flo and Mary Jo. Okay. No, we'll get you guys.
We're banned.
Paul
We're banned.
Oh, Tharot, that's right.
I forgot. My bad. I forgot.
We do those live on Fridays at 11:30 a.m. Pacific, but you can get them on. Where do we put it? I don't know where we put it.
They kept trying to get us to fight. Those chat rooms wanted us to fight about Mac and Windows, and Paul and I just hugged it out.
It's on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/twit.
You got to fight. That's how you get the views.
I know.
That's true.
I know.
No one wants to see.
We might have come out like Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage. We might have done that a little bit.
I think we're putting out too much content. I can't.
No such thing.
I can't even follow it. There's so much content coming out. But I'm busy making masks. I'm busy sewing.
You're making content, Leo. You can't be enjoying and making it.
So, consensus.
You're keeping people safe so that they can watch the content.
That's right. Consensus. Zoom or not to Zoom? Georgia?
I don't think there's many choices right now, so I would say Zoom if you have to.
Zoom if you have to. Owen?
Zoom, but use protection.
I think we have a show title. Renee, Zoom or not to Zoom?
It's not my first choice, but I'll use it if it's what the community needs.
Yeah. And I think it is right now. I do. Here's another thing Apple's doing to help us during this crisis. They are asking healthcare providers, labs, other businesses to submit the locations of their testing facilities. After they vet it, they are putting it on Apple Maps. So you will be able to go to Apple Maps and find a COVID-19 testing site. What
That's useful.
Yeah.
Is it?
All that stuff is
That's
great.
just good.
More.
Yep. I mean, that's what Maps
They also
should be
made
used for.
They also made the Today at Apple stuff online, which I was really hoping that they would do. You never know, but like the Apple stores were redesigned in this way to be very touchy-feely community, which is the opposite of what we can do now.
No touching, no feeling.
Yeah, but if people aren't aware, Today at Apple, they have amazing courses. Like the prototyping course at Today at Apple is very similar to the one they ran at WWDC a few years ago. And they have like for coding, for design, for photography, I'm not saying you could learn a new career, but you could get your foot in the door. If you're just sitting at home and you don't have anything else to do, it's all free and it's really, really well done.
So, of course, because they've closed all the Apple stores, these events are not happening at Apple, but they've put them all online at apple.com/today, or at least some.
Yeah. See, look at those crowds. You can't have that now.
Yeah, it's sad. But I mean, these are great events. They're really wonderful. Yeah. And they have them for kids. They have them for creatives. But at least they're calling it Today at Apple at Home. And what's fun is these creators are doing it like everybody else. They're doing it from their homes. It's kind of wild to see Jimmy Fallon doing his show from home, to see creators, here's Harriet from Apple Regent Street in London, how to draw playful portraits.
My favorite thing about seeing famous and rich people do stuff at home is how trash their setups are and how I am
look how good you look. You could teach them so much.
And the science fiction people have the oldest houses.
Oh, it's embarrassing. I'm looking at LeBron James on his cell phone. I'm like, what iPhone is that? Is that your grandmother's iPhone, LeBron? Turn a light on in your McMansion, okay? Because the lighting is trash, LeBron, all right? Jimmy Fallon looks like he's recording in his daughter's closet, okay? It's trash.
I kind of do you think they must be doing that on purpose? Surely NBC could send, there's ways to do it. Send technicians out, set it up, wipe it all down.
Here's the thing.
No, they can't.
You
need
a McMillionaire to plug in the cameras, to plug in the software, to load everything up.
You can't get those guys to do it, no.
Yeah. Well, there was even Nilay's review for the MacBook Air. He has Becca on Zoom telling him, all right, put the camera up a scooch. Too much. Zoom in. No, just one thing back. Okay, you're centered now. Stay there. And he's like trying to do the whole video while she's producing him through it.
It makes me feel so good about myself every time I watch a trash production.
Saturday Night Live last night.
Make them appreciate all the people that make their shows good, because look at it without. They're great for talent, but they're not great for the sound. They're not great for the lighting. So hopefully they'll appreciate everyone that makes them look and sound
appreciate
so good.
your gaffers, your grips, your technical directors, your camera operators. Well, they still have the joke writers. They're just not in the same room with them. I mean, that's the weird thing, to watch something like John Oliver, for instance, do the same exact jokes. The material's exactly the same, just as funny, but there's no one laughing. So it just kind of lands there. It shows you.
Yeah, but he said he's used to that because he's a British comedian and nobody ever reacts to a stand-up routine in England anyway.
Saturday Night Live did its entire show remotely last night. I didn't see it. I only saw a little bit of it. Apparently they need better mics, somebody told me. There were actually people using their iPhone headsets. Georgia's wearing her iPhone headset, but she's not using it for
I don't do it for the there we go. Audio in, no, but just for hearing.
Just for hearing. But I was seeing, the scritch sound, which we long ago banned as the microphone on that headphone hits the collar and goes, or the beard, worse.
Oh, yeah, Dalrymple. Many a microphone has disappeared into Dalrymple's beard.
Yeah. And then Jordy's here. Actually,
I thought that was Cyclops from
Jordy's
X-Men.
reading us stories, reading rainbows.
Yes. Oh, he is reading stories. That is amazing.
Isn't that sweet?
That's one of the better things on the internet this week. That made me feel like I was 5 years old. Yeah. I was like, man, take a look. It's in a book, a reading rainbow.
It's pretty funny. In a way, I really like it. I like seeing. Well, Dana Carvey once said the only thing being rich and famous does is gives you a bigger bedroom to watch TV in. And you really get this when you see these people's houses. They're just like us. They're just living in the same world, you know. Maybe it's a little bit bigger.
Oh yeah, I understand when they say, you know what, just stay home from their, 17 rooms and their indoor swimming pool.
Yeah.
I lost my husband.
Swimming pool.
I see him in 3 days.
Apartments.
The swimming pool situation, my friend's got his little big mansion, and he's got a problem because his pool, he can't get the stuff to keep his pool clean. He can't come out to clean it. So his pool looks like a swamp thing right now. So I laughed at him.
Making
I said,
new
why don't you
diseases.
go out
That's
to the
great.
pool?
That is literally a first world problem. I can't get the chlorine from my pool.
Lovey.
He was saying something. I was like, he's like, man, we don't have anything to do. I'm like, you live in like a safari. Go swimming. Go down your slide. Go sit by the waterfall. He shows me a picture. He's like, dude, it's like a swamp. And I'm just laughing. I was just like, the pain in my heart for you right now, friend. The pain.
Apple is shipping those custom face shields. We mentioned that, all right, and donating 20 million of them, which is really cool.
Thanks, Apple.
Thank you, Apple. They have said we're going to hire 1,000 summer interns, most of them working offline at home.
I'm trying to put my name on that list.
Yeah, you can apply.
Wouldn't that be cool?
People can apply. Cool. If you're looking for a job, there's like Apple at Home.
They can't tell that you're maybe a 63-year-old podcaster from Northern California, can they?
It's Apple. They don't care. They're for misfits. They're for crazy ones.
I'm just trying to get that 50% discount on Beats headphones because they got new headphones coming out. So I just want to work for the summer so I can get more of my Beats.
I think it's a discount for all audio stuff. I think they're just trying to get people to put headphones on and not let their families distract them from working.
Let's take a little,
listening to their family.
Little teeny break. We will come back more of this great panel. If anybody, I mean, honestly, but it's almost feels silly to do tech news.
It's hard. You're a savant, Uncle Leo. I tell you what.
People need it though, Leo.
You think we need
You're
it?
a savant.
I think people need it.
All right, I'll find. I mean, I
think we need to go through how are we surviving isolation with our tech? What are you doing to keep
by watching
happy
TWiT
and entertained?
There we go.
I'm watching so much TWiT.
That's true.
Prepare yourselves. What do you do? Baby Yoda's here, and with his weirdly he drinks coffee. I guess nobody told him it's.
I think it's bone broth. I think on the show they said it was bone broth.
It's bone broth. That's okay.
Could be.
We're gonna when we come back. I like that idea. What are you doing to stay sane?
He has to grow to 4 feet tall, Leo. That doesn't happen on its own.
Frogs. He eats frogs. It's frog juice.
Our show today brought to you by I'll tell you, if you're stuck at home, you might as well have a nice mattress to lie on. It's really nice. You have those nice Casper sheets. You lie down on that beautiful Casper mattress. You take a deep breath, and the world does seem like, maybe it's not so bad after all. Casper is an online retailer of premium mattresses. This is a king-size mattress. Look at the size of that box. It's tiny. And that's one of the reasons I love Casper. When we sent a Casper to our son in college, he could heft it up the dorm stairs, no problem. We sent him the original Casper mattress that combines multiple supportive memory foams for a quality sleep surface with just the right amount of sink and bounce. And it's breathable, too. You open up the Casper box, you take the Casper out of its ceiling, and it just goes whoosh, and it smells great. You don't have to air it out, and it's breathable. When that means you're going to sleep cool, which is really important. It lets you regulate your body temperature throughout the night. 20,000 reviews across Casper, Amazon, and Google, an average of 4.8 stars. You can see I'm giving it a 5-star. The Casper Wave features patent-pending premium support to mirror the natural shape of your body. If you want to save money, maybe sending something to a kid in school or setting up the guest room, the Essential, streamlined design at a price that won't keep you up at night. The Hybrid, that's the one I'm sleeping on right now, that combines the pressure relief of the award-winning foam with durable yet gentle springs. There's also pillows, sheets. There's the Casper Glow Light. The cat loves Casper. Everybody loves Casper. You can be sure of your purchase, too, because, there's no store, nowhere to go try before you buy. But really, when you get the Casper in your home, it is your risk-free trial. You have 100 nights to decide if it's right for you. This 100-night risk-free sleep-on-it trial means you can get a painless return if you don't like it anytime in that first 100 nights. Just call them up. They'll refund every penny. Come get your mattress. You don't have to put it back in that box. Free shipping, painless returns in the U.S. and Canada. Get a Casper mattress today. Save $100 towards select mattresses by visiting casper.com/twit1. Don't forget to use the offer code TWIT1 at checkout. $100 off select mattresses by going to casper.com/twit1 and entering the code TWIT1 at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Thank you, Casper.
Uncle Leo.
Oh, look at that. It's a Casper pillow making its...
Man, look, I don't have a Casper bed. I don't have a Casper mattress. But I did just replenish my whole
Isn't
bed
that a nice
set
pillow?
with these pillows.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something.
So good.
Let me tell you something. I got it last week. I just got all the new pillows last week because, stressful times and whatnot. And I said to myself, what are the little luxuries I could do for myself? And I went and got 3 of these pillows. I got the 2 originals and I got the foam, and I am sleeping like a baby.
Which is your favorite? What do you like?
I love I also got the king size. These things are huge.
That's my favorite.
Man, I'm up here.
It's practically a body pillow. I sleep on a king size every night. Now, I don't put it under my head. I put it on my side. It props me up.
I have a bunch of them, too. They're so good.
Here's the way I'm living, Uncle Leo. I got the foam underneath my head. Then I got a king behind my back. And then I got a king to hold. And so one day when I find a lovely lady to replace the holding Casper, but right now I'm secure front, back, and side to side. And this is an amazing pillow. I mean, not for nothing. Besides the fact you can get 10% off the mattress. I'm going to upgrade the mattress one day. But just get yourself a pillow. Just get yourself a little taste of the Casper joy and love in your heart. Go ahead and do it for yourself.
It's true, actually. That's it. Did you just happen to have that lying around, ready to go?
Magic trick, Uncle Leo.
He's amazing.
Always ready. He's always ready.
DK was born ready.
If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
My dog has a Casper bed.
You know,
They have little doggy beds.
They do doggy beds. And what I realized is when you send the Casper mattress back, they try to donate it. But they can't, they're to a homeless shelter or a benefit charity in your area. But if they can't, then they've got these mattresses, and they can't resell a mattress. So that's what they do with them. They make doggy beds out of them. The doggies don't care. The doggies don't care.
Maybe I'll get my dog one before I get myself one. I'll act like a splurge on something. You know what I mean? Get my dog.
What kind of dog do you have? Do you? Let me guess.
Always.
It's a little tiny yappy dog.
I only own pit bulls. Her name is Melage.
He's got the vicious.
No, pits are not vicious.
No, sweet pit bulls. Sweet pit bull. We've already had this discussion. That's why I was bugging. I was not starting. Don't.
No. Best thing about pit bulls is people are intimidated and afraid of them.
That's right.
Even if the dog is the sweetest dog in the world. So if you're scared, get a dog. It's meant for it. Get a pit bull. So people won't come bother you. They'll cross the street. You want 6 feet of clearance? Get yourself a pit bull and walk down the street. Grown men will cross the street when you come down.
But isn't that something nice also, is that almost all the shelters are empty right now. People have been, thinking that they have more time to spend at home, get an animal. Hopefully they don't return them after all of this. But most of the shelters are empty. So, yeah.
The animal shelters. Unfortunately, the human shelters are not.
No.
Yeah. But the animal shelters are. And that is kind of nice. That's an opportunity. Yeah. So this is, they call them the velvet hippos. Did you know that?
Well, I thought you were going to say if there are aliens out there watching and they want to adopt some humans, they should ramp it up. They call
them velvet hippos, and this is a Reddit thread devoted. It's /r/the velvet hippos.
Side note again, velvet hippos, we're about to steal that name. My daughter has started a soap empire in her quarantine, and she's making hippos. This one's an oat hippo, but she does have
I will buy her soap. Oh my God.
Well, we will definitely do that. If anybody's listening, my daughter's been making me make a website and all this stuff for her. So if anybody wants to come and rescue me and save me from my
child. Put the link up now.
She's had me redo her website. It's Leah.com. It's Hygiene Queen with a H-I Gene Queen. But Leah, LEIYAH.com will get you there. It's launching next week because our soaps are setting right now. And it's just been a lot of work for me. For her saying she wanted to do something. it's killing me inside.
That's so cute.
But she's not, I love it. This is a great website.
She's not playing video games, and she wanted to make soap with her friend, and so she bought all this soap, and she's making soap, and she wants to sell soap.
Why use a Linux server when you have a dad? So.
How does she? How does she make the soap? How deep down the chain does she go to make the soap?
So she started doing melt and pour soap as a testing system for herself, and those soaps didn't come out that great, but they smell delicious. They don't look great.
So you're melting existing soap?
So they come in blocks as base soap, and then you have to form things in them, scents and colors and things like that.
Got it.
Yeah, we use goat milk soap, and we use aloe soap, and she also got charcoal soap because she wants to make soap for men. So then the next step is,
if she does it, I use charcoal soap. It's the best soap ever. It's the best soap ever.
We just got the charcoal soap in. We're waiting for the manly scents so she can make
What's the address? What's the address?
Just go to Leah.com, LEIYAH.com. It's the company name is Hygiene Queen, but it's hygiene spelled funny.
How old is she?
She's 12.
She's got her own soap business.
That's amazing.
Yeah, all right. We got the logo done. You can put your email in. We'll email you as soon as the soaps are set. No, we're waiting for them to set first before we start. But next week they're going to be up for sale. Because again, I've got work to do. I've got to get labels now, and I've got to get shrink wraps.
It's like you're working for Sheldon.
That's awesome. I'm really ready for the charcoal soap, so get those done.
Yes.
You too are a charcoal soap aficionado, or you have a stinky husband.
It's just good. Like when you're doing, my husband does a lot of stuff with like the car and dealing with things. And so it's nice after to have a good soap to be able to do a good clean. So the charcoal soap is amazing. There's certain things that just charcoal soap is it.
And the first people that buy stuff are going to get these little exfoliating bags because apparently it's good to have an exfoliating bag. Again,
you put the soap in the bag?
If anybody wants to just come and get me out of this quarantine and save me, or just take a kid and make soap with her, it's a lot.
She can come. I'll make soap with her.
I want to make soap.
I'm into the craft.
I want to make soap.
Again, I'm just happy and proud of her.
So you buy it in bulk. So you're not starting with lye and rendered animal fat and cooking it up like the Pilgrims used to do. You start with
we're using bases before we get. One day when she grows up and she wants to do chemicals and things like that, we're trying to do more natural stuff.
Yeah.
Also because it's safer for her to do on her own.
Well, look at this. So you go on to Amazon and you can buy for $20 a 5-pound clear glycerin melt and pour soap base, and so you would start with that, and then you would melt that down.
Yeah.
And you'd flavor it.
You add colors, scents,
put it in a hippo shape.
Yes.
Nice.
Like this one has oats in it. And this one made me angry because if you could see, I don't know if it'll focus on there.
Yeah.
There's so many oats in here. I'm like, who's trying to
oats.
exfoliate?
That's too many
This
oats.
is her first one. I was like, you know what?
She's got to chop those oats up. You don't want whole oats.
She's gonna grind. She learned her lesson, but I keep it on my desk because it smells delicious. Like I can smell it around my desk all the time. It does smell so good. So she did a good job on that part. It's a learning process. But soap's coming soon. So whatever. Thank you. But again, anybody wants to save me, please come and save me. Back to the store.
Have you ever done this? It feels like Georgia might have made soap.
I actually have glycerin. I have a glycerin block that I have dye and glycerin block incense. I have not yet done it, so maybe I'll have to ask some questions later.
I want to do it.
Now's the time.
I don't want to steal from.
Bombs.
I don't want to. Apparently, this is considered an essential product because Amazon will get it to me on Wednesday. So I can't get a Logitech camera till next year, but I can get a 5-pound block of glycerin melt right away.
Like I got so much soap around my house right now. Like she was making stars and it's got salt and sugar encrusted on it and hearts. And it's just so much. Like how much do I need to wash my hands?
Soap is good for you because sugar is good for you because it's exfoliant.
Yes. Again, my YouTube right now, is soap videos and it's annoying me because I got to get it out of the algorithm.
You got to get her own account on YouTube is what you got to do.
Well, she does have her own account.
Put her in a
she
private
sends me
browsing.
Stuff to look at, or she comes and sits down with me and we look at them. And I don't think to go on her device and do it because we're just sitting
YouTube
here.
thinks you're a soap
private browsing
junkie.
mode, incognito.
Yeah, they think you're a soap junkie.
All YouTube shows him is soap videos.
It's great. She's not just playing Minecraft because that's all she's doing right now is FaceTiming and Minecraft. We spend less time together now in quarantine than we did pre-quarantine.
Well, your mistake was thinking that it was optional previously. It's in fact what the kids prefer.
Exactly.
So what do you melt it in? Do you have a cauldron?
She uses a double pop boiler, or sometimes you can just use a glass thing and put it in the microwave. Like if you want to buy some at home, if you got a glass bowl, you can just do it in the microwave and whip it up with sticks. Do not use spoons. Use a little like chopsticks or little skewer sticks.
Because
because it'll ruin the spoon.
I buy a charcoal soap that is $15 a bar. It's ridiculous.
What? Ours is only going to be $7.95. Uncle Leo, I'm about to save you 50% on your soap experience.
But it's
no, it was. Now you're doubling it for Leo.
Yeah, really.
We got to consult on this.
Just the Leo price.
It's the only soap I'll use because it's a really it's a good deodorant soap. And it is black, which is weird. So
well, if you buy it from there, it doesn't have anything in it. It's just soap. It doesn't have any scent or any kind of like stuff in it to make it soapy.
I'm gonna get her. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, this is soap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I can't remember the name. All right, so we know now already what Owen is doing in quarantine. It's if you had done 20 questions, if you had said guess, it's the last thing I would have guessed you're making soap.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that would have been the last thing. It wouldn't even have been on the list.
I would have guessed artisanal biscotti. That would have been my guess. Artisanal biscotti. Or everyone's making a mother dough.
I have a sourdough. I have one, but I started it before the COVID thing, but it's still there, and I feed it every day and find lots of things to do because
my mom just gave me a rye bread. Her and my sister are baking together over FaceTime. So I'm benefiting.
Rye is an excellent sourdough flour starter. All right, what are you doing, Georgia, to stay sane during this crazy time?
So we're playing Half-Life Alyx, which is a VR game.
Yes, right?
So amazing.
Right?
So amazing. Really amazing game. If you have one game you're going to get on VR, we have the controllers that are like hands-free, so you can actually grab things, and then like you can actually crush things in your hand by squeezing really hard.
Yep.
It's amazing. My kids though start to try to force grab things to come towards them when they're not playing. It's
because
really
you get used
beautiful.
to this. Because it's kind of it's like the Force. You could pull things to you, and you get used to it. Now you try to do it all the time. That's a sign you've been playing it too much.
It doesn't work out as well. It's
Baby Yoda reach. But it's Baby Yoda reach.
It is just really great. It's a great game. We're watching the Castlevania. My kids are all into Castlevania. They play all the games. Choice. So we're watching the miniseries,
Warren Ellis,
which is really good. Really good. So we're watching that as well. and just trying to keep busy with that. But a lot of fun VR.
How many kids do you have? Two
boys.
And now that Renee can't babysit them, they're all yours.
Yeah, we get along really well. Like, we get along really well. So it's a lot of fun. We get to, like, we play board games. Like, I'm like a 12-year-old girl, like, really. So I like sparkles and board games, and let's do art and make stuff. And we have a lot of fun.
Does it get hard, though? Sometimes you just go, I wish I had some time to myself.
They don't leave us alone. That's true. But when they get to play 3 hours of video games if they do their homework during the day. So they're doing their video games for like 3 hours. So, and at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, we are like, okay, our time, we're going to watch Mad Men.
Yeah, Michael is loving Half-Life Alyx. It's another one I can't pry out of his hands. He's playing it on the Vive. It's Steam, right? I think you can get it on Steam.
Yeah, Steam.
And it's VR only, which is interesting.
Party.
Say again?
It's their property, I think. It's what
Steam's.
they've been building all this stuff to make.
In
fact, that's actually a good point. Steam started pretty much with Valve with Half-Life. Yeah. And so they've owned this all along. Yeah, Half-Life is...
It's like Elon Musk. They're putting everything together to make a virtual world for us.
I was so glad to see that they have the face suckers. And they're even better in this than they were in the original Half-Life. I mean, it's scary. And the crowbars.
It's scary. It's really scary.
It's really scary. Yeah. Because you're in it.
That's the weird thing with VR, is that you really do believe that you're there, even though you know you're not. Is that it's so much scarier than watching someone, like a movie, because you're immersed around it. So it's quite scary, but they do a great job with it. You really get to interact with every piece of the world. You can pick up things. I'm like grabbing like this stick, and I'm like, I'll take this as a weapon, and then I'm like, ooh, what about this plant pot? And then I'm like, oh no, I'm going to take the entire siding to the house. I'm trying to drag it through the beginning of the house. And then I figure out that that's only the opening. It's not even the beginning of the game. And then I watched there's one where I'll just mention Jeff. And then I went, I don't know if I'm going to be able to play all of the game because that was really scary. So some of you know who Jeff is.
That's what I was going to ask as a special request. If you don't want to live stream it, if you could just call me on FaceTime, put the phone in the corner so I can just watch you play through those certain boards. The joy in my heart, you would do so much for my mental stress just to watch you jump in a foot.
It's great.
I scream, though. I scream really loud, and then I'm very tense.
The way you giggle, I assume is the way you scream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're tiptoeing because you're looking around corners. You don't want to get jump scares. Yeah.
No, and they do a great job of luring you in.
Yeah.
And then, it's going to happen anyways. So, like, I just saw one robot. I ran behind something and hid, and it wasn't
a robot.
Even about me. The robot
just a robot.
Went by.
Nothing to fear. Renee, what are you doing to keep sane in these difficult times?
Well, as you know, Leo, I had the bright idea of quitting my job right before all this COVID stuff started. So I've been like
busy,
morning till night setting up everything for YouTube. I didn't have a website. I didn't have my own everything was owned by Future and iMore, so I had to rebuild everything. And I've actually been going through a lot of Alex Lindsay's stuff that he's been recommending over the years.
Yes.
And I'm setting up a streaming thing. I just set up a camera overhead. I have a camera that I'm setting up behind me. I should be able to switch eventually. And it's a little panicky because I wish I had done more preparation in advance, but it's also a lot of fun. It's like I'm a hobbyist videographer who's also trying to start a video channel, so I can't screw around too much. But it's a huge learning curve, but it's immense. I was watching a bunch of videos on lighting, so now I have a light up here, and I have a kick light there, and I have background lights, and I have fills, and it's just a whole thing.
It's fun, isn't it? And honestly, it's not that different from your life before. You just can't go out.
No, but I like if I didn't do something before, there's like a huge. We had this at my old company. I used to work in product marketing, and we had a team of developers, and we tried to poach this developer from a famous company. He said, "I'm one of 1,000 people. If something goes wrong, nobody notices. I'll be one of 5 people at your team. Every screw up I do will be like on me.
Yeah.
And like now, literally everything is on me.
Yeah, we know that feeling.
And the building back up must be really stressful, right, Renee? Like, you're starting it for yourself, and you have to build your channel back up from like zero.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Jory.
So everyone go and subscribe to Renee and support him. No, subscribe. Everyone go and subscribe. Sorry,
Everybody subscribe. Ring the bell. Hit the red button. Ring the bell. Do the whole thing.
Renee Ritchie on YouTube. Do it all.
People
for
have been
him,
great.
please,
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. But it's
Renee,
that's how I've been spending my time. I wake up, I do that, then when I get tired, I go to sleep.
You're among friends. We've all made that transition. I'm from Tech TV to podcasting. Yes. Owen J.J. Stone was on the good Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and now he's got to sit there and be blue.
Alyx went from ILM to making his own company for years. I mean, not a small outfit.
And Georgia Dow is doing exactly what she's always done.
Yes, keeping me sane.
And we love her. Yes. Can you go over and wave at her through the window? Because she's in Montreal.
She's across the river from me. Anytime you see a picture I post of the river, she didn't want to be on the same island with me. I don't blame her. But so the other island, I can sort of wave to her across the island, and she can pretend not to see me. That's how that works.
I get it. We've kind of gone through some of that here. In fact, this week was a little bit of a challenge because a lot of our hosts are working from home. I'll tell you what, we made a little montage. This is what our shows have looked like this week on TWiT. It's been very dark here at TWiT.
Previously on TWiT.
If you are watching the live stream right now, Micah is a potato. Micah has gone Super Saiyan.
Hands-on wellness.
If you're not feeling well, yet you don't feel the need to visit an ER, you can still visit a doctor virtually. These two apps allow you to speak to a medical professional from the comfort of your home via video chat on your mobile device.
Security now.
The world now has a new term, Zoom bombing, and it's become a sub-industry of its own.
Hands-on Mac.
A lot of the things I'm going to talk about on Hands on Mac will involve use of the terminal. And if you're a developer, if you're just somebody who likes to geek out, getting into the command line and the terminal on Macintosh is a really great idea.
Hands-on Android.
If you're stuck at home like I am, and something tells me you might be, then you finally have some spare time to, I don't know, read a book or watch a movie or something. I've got a bunch of completely free options for Android.
Mac Break Weekly.
Apple has designed its own flat pack mask for healthcare workers, face shields. And he says we can manufacture these at a million of them a week. And it is, by the way, I want to point out, the thinnest face shield Apple has ever made. So,
stay home and watch TWiT.
Yeah, Micah discovered how to use, what's it called, SnapCam? I think that's the program. And then he told everybody how to use SnapCam. And now our Zoom meetings are just a nightmare. Just a nightmare. Everybody looks different.
But he's so delightful.
Like I said,
he's so much fun. Love Micah.
His joy is
Isn't
annoying. It's just, I'm trying to be grumpy, and then he just comes across my feed, and I'm like, ugh. I gotta look at it and smile. It drives me crazy.
I love our
Let me
team.
tell you. Let me just tell you something out there for anybody who's listening. If you made it this far in the show, thank you. We appreciate you. Secondly, go over and follow Ant_Pruitt. He only has 3,500 followers. I have more followers than him, and I don't deserve it.
You mean on Twitter or on Instagram?
On
Where?
Twitter. On Twitter. He's putting out content for Uncle Leo like nobody's business. Hands-on wellness. I mean, the guy's out there photoshopping muscles on himself for you guys. So go ahead and hit the follow button on Twitter. My man, Hank, my doppelganger, my twin brother, the smarter brother, the more handsome brother. But go ahead and follow that man because he's out here putting out all kinds of extra content and live broadcasts and all kinds of stuff. Just go ahead and click the button. He's always giving out good, useful information.
Everybody is. They are really. They're all.
You got them working over there. They're working harder at home.
Yeah, they are.
Everybody is.
Here's his working from home studio setup. You can see what he's doing. His hands-on wellness is great. How to see a doctor while you're sheltering in place. That's the latest hands-on wellness.
Unable to reach a doctor's office, we have some options for you here on Hands-on Wellness.
I'm really happy with.
He's terrific.
With Ant. He's so talented. So it's always it's always a lot of fun. Yeah, follow Ant. Follow Ant. Follow him on Instagram too.
His Instagram's awesome, but I don't want to share that with people. I try to keep some things to myself, Uncle Leo. Try to keep some things to myself.
He's a great photographer. So we are talking on MacBreak Weekly about this strange thing that Apple and Amazon did together. Apple, for some reason, there's only 3 companies that get this privilege, said, you know what, Amazon, you sell stuff on your own app, and we won't take a 30% cut. And the only other two companies that get this privilege are Altice One and Canal Plus, and those are both streaming TV companies, right? This is unheard of. Ben Thompson had a great article in Stratechery kind of debating all the different possibilities. We never really came up with why Apple did this, but Ben's final conclusion, I think, is interesting. He says, one thing you should consider is the impact of shelter in place. He says the coronavirus will not so much foment drastic changes as it will accelerate trends that were already happening. Changes that might have taken 10 to 15 years may now happen in far less time. And he says it seems possible cord cutting will be a leading example. I know our audience are big cord cutters, as you might expect with a podcast, for one thing, that, their audiences obviously are much more media literate. But I also think because our audience is geeks, they're able to search out the best ways to do this. Do you think when we come out of this, it's over for movie theaters, it's over for cable companies, it's all about over-the-top streaming video? Owen,
I don't think so.
No, you don't think so?
I don't think so. I think that people are going to be, when we're done, I think people are going to be so stuck of being secluded. I think that a lot of people will appreciate it, and I think it might change the way that we do things differently in some ways. I think that more people will do things remotely than going out to it, but I think that people are still going to enjoy the movie theater experience. And I think that people still enjoy getting together. So in certain ways, we might do it from home. But I think that, the first thing people are going to want to do when this is all dropped and we can leave our homes safely, people are going to be storming the movie theaters and, going back to their favorite bars. Not all of them, but the good ones.
Nobody wants to be here, Uncle Leo. We're first to be here. First and foremost. Second of all, I'm frothing at the mouth to get back into a movie theater and sneak my candy in because I don't want to spend $9 on their candy and watch something on a gigantic screen and tell people to shut up while I'm trying to watch the 4-part of the movie.
AMC may be out of business by the time you come out of quarantine. What if there are no theaters?
Disney will open up theaters.
So, exactly. Somebody's going to open up movie theaters again, Uncle Leo. This is America. We will rebuild. We will come back. And let me tell you something else. The other thing about it is you better not keep everything on streaming, okay? Because I told you a long time ago there's a very not bright guy who learned how to steal and copy stuff, okay? You better get these movies back in the theater so you can get some of this money. Ain't nobody streaming Trolls right now. They're trying to figure out how they can hack Troll or have somebody streaming on the back end so they can watch it.
Trolls is a $20 rental. You didn't rent it for Leah?
First of all, I've ruined my child's life by the fact that
she has soap money now. She doesn't need to have him.
We watch adult content, like not adult content. Oh my God, I got to rephrase.
No, I know what you're saying. We watch TV for grown-ups, not for kids.
Yes, we watch TV for grown-ups.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So she is she's about real life stuff. Like we watched Just Mercy, and she loves real life true story type movies now. Like she likes, Dark Water and intellectual things and injustice. So whenever I try to say, hey, let's go watch Onward, and she's like, I'm not watching that. And so I got to watch Sonic the Hedgehog by myself. And it's just hard because she won't watch any kid movies anymore. So we're past that.
I don't think people are going back to theaters. I think there'll be a little bit of residual PTSD from this. I think they're also going to discover that they're completely happy watching the content that they can stream instead of spending all that money.
Isn't it like the CD market where, like, for a while the CD business was printing and ship and trucking? That was the majority of the CD business. And then, there was an extinction level event with Napster and with all those sharing services. And the model had to evolve. And we went to iTunes, and now we have Spotify and Apple Music.
Physical media is dead.
And the video companies have fought so hard. And they don't want to go into the future. Like imagine if music worked like video. Like you had to have Warner Music account, you had to have an AMC account, you had to have a Sony Music account. YouTube's big enough, you got to subscribe to that. It's a nightmare, and video is still a nightmare because they don't want to be like music, and they're fighting it, and the theaters are fighting it. But this could be the extinction level event that we've talked about, not in a bad way, but in terms of getting the dinosaurs out of the boardrooms and letting young, smart people take over that can see a model where there's like a pool of revenue. If you go to the movie theater, that's part of the pool. If you want to pay $100 because that's what tickets cost to get advanced access or in real time access, there'll be all of these options. And I think that's sort of the evolution where this model has to be, that they won't be able to extract single copy value from anything anymore, the same way CDs can't do that anymore. And now streams are making more money again. And I think there's a model where video could make a lot more money if they just sort of lessen their grip a little bit.
They're not making Star Wars opening night the movie theater money. Renee, I just followed you on Twitter because I didn't do it before and I'm a horrible person for it. And I gave you a compliment about wearing an orange shirt and how lovely you looked. And then you come in here with your nonsense. Actually, it makes a lot of sense. I don't like the fact that what you said just made a lot of sense. And you're messing up my dreams and hopes, okay? So I'm going to snack on your dreams and hopes. Next thing you say out your mouth, I'm disagreeing with.
So he's unfollowing me immediately.
That's exactly. I'm upset.
He's going to subscribe just to unsubscribe.
Subscribe. That's right.
So here's another point.
Hire somebody if you don't hire somebody.
Here's another point of concern. Over the last 2 years, people under 25 are the least likely to go to movies.
Yeah.
How's that possible?
Because they have Netflix.
Well, you'd think they'd be going to see the Marvel movies.
Because they're not
stuff,
thinking about people that take their kids to movies.
That's including.
There's definitely going to be less people seeing movies because you can still get them at home, but that doesn't mean the entire business is going to be dead. Like, people are now opening up drive-thrus again, which I think is awesome because that's a cool experience. I just need the girls in the roller
We're going back to the 50s.
Be able to,
because Cuomo says we're going to open up drive-in movie theaters in New York City.
Movie theater and chill, Leo. This generation needs the and chill part. So that's why they're trying to angle for drive-ins, but it's not going to work, kids.
We don't need as many movie theaters, but that doesn't mean that the entire business is dead. It's just changing. It's evolving.
The cars are making a comeback, right? Like parking lots, movie theaters, we're going to be needing room to put all these cars again. It's such a weird time.
Cars. I just bought 2 homes and 3 Hummers. Gas is $1.89, and I am balling out of control. I'm about to get an 18-wheeler and go coast to coast, Key West to Key Largo.
You're making this up
when
now.
everything shuts down.
Just pouring gas out the back of the truck, right?
Look, let me tell you something. I'm giving out free gas on Thursdays. Come see me. All right, that's how cheap gas is.
$5 burgers and free gas.
And soap.
That's right.
So Ben's contention is that Amazon and Apple are uniting in the face of competition now accelerated from streaming companies like Netflix and Disney Plus. Disney Plus through the roof during this, right? Netflix through the roof.
It's such a weird. So I think Ben is like a legit genius, but it's such a weird thing because Amazon's service is not as good. Like you're not going to compete with. It's such a weird service. Like the apps are trash. You go in and you press play and it says, oh, you need a different subscription to play the thing we're showing you that makes it look like you can play it. We have some originals, but it's mixed together we just jumble it together with a bunch of movies from the 70s with no rhyme or reason. Like, it's a bad service. And you'd think that their competitive strategy would be to make a good service because it's one of the richest companies on earth. And Apple, they're just starting off. They have 0 catalog content. They're making some good shows, some not so good shows, but that doesn't seem like a very good competitive strategy to me if it is one. I feel like this is more about avoiding a regulation.
Well, in fact, what Ben says is Apple and Amazon are at the historic disadvantage of companies with other businesses. He says Netflix is going to win this because it is
all they do.
That's all they do. And so they're...
Well, it's the opposite, though, because eventually these services become commodities. Like we saw this with Spotify. Spotify only does... That's why they're trying to diversify. They're buying podcast networks and ad networks and all these things because the service becomes a commodity. You make razor-thin margins. And we saw that with smartphones. Like the companies that only made smartphones, Palm and BlackBerry, they just couldn't compete. Anything that went wrong destroyed them. Meanwhile, Samsung had appliance money and Apple had Mac money and Google had search money. And Apple and Google can give away content as a strategy, as just like a gift to get you to buy their devices and use their services. And Netflix is accruing a lot of market share, but a lot of debt at the same time. So I don't know. I mean, it's great that they're making a lot of originals, but unless they have some sort of other business, I don't know how they'll be able to weather downturns in their markets.
Their theory is
a loss of value in their content.
Theory is we spend now to lock you in because we're going to make such great exclusive. That's the important part. Content. This is a problem Spotify had too.
I stopped watching.
You stopped watching Netflix?
Yeah, Disney Plus came out and Apple Plus came out, and they won't go in the TV app. And most of the time now I'm in the TV app because it shows me what's next, and it's super easy. I go, I'll watch that.
Netflix.
They're not in there. I don't even see them anymore.
Yeah.
You're in the Apple bubble. I'm not listening to you. I got free Apple stuff. I haven't watched one episode of any show that they've done. I don't know anybody that's watched.
I have, and I regret it. It's crap.
Let me finish. I haven't had one person in my circle recommend me a show that comes from Apple or Amazon.
I have Disney Plus in there.
Great for them. Great for them coming together so they can be in 5th place because their content is generally trash. They can put out a commercial they can want. I got my iPhone 11 Max Pro, $256, $1,500. I got a free year. I ain't watched one episode of nothing. They had nobody recommend me nothing. So you up there again in that Apple bubble talk about the show? Nope. Trash.
Is there any
I'm
Apple?
not watching the Apple
Is there
shows.
any
I'm
Apple
Disney,
TV?
and I'm watching CBS All Access, and I'm watching.
Is there any Apple TV Plus? Is there any Apple TV Plus anybody would recommend show
The Servant was good. I liked The Servant.
Until the
It
end.
was interesting.
It had a lot of
Until
promise,
the
and then the last
weird.
episode is like, oh, come on.
Yeah,
So
fair enough. You get
that let me down. I agree. I liked
It's
it.
true.
That was a Shyamalan production.
I am happy they're
That
not
was
doing
it, though.
franchise content though. Like a lot of companies are just putting out franchise content, and it's nice that someone's experimenting with new stories.
Yeah, that's what Netflix does. All I do is watch new stories on Netflix.
Netflix does it. Like Netflix, we watch quite a lot,
But a lot of it
Apple
is existing
TV.
properties.
Oh, a lot, but a
That's
lot
fair.
of it is
That's
new
fair.
stuff too, their own stuff.
But
They
even
have
the new
a
stuff
lot
is
of
good.
Netflix are crap. I don't know.
As far as I
Apple,
can tell,
Apple
it's
and
Adam
Amazon,
Sandler in old video game shows. But I'm not going to get into this war.
you'll lose. That's why.
The chat room says they like For All Mankind.
One Day at a Time was fantastic. I regret that they canceled it.
One Day at a Time?
Yeah, on Netflix. It was fantastic.
Oh, that was the updated One Day at a Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the new one. I never watched it. I should
you're
watch
on these
it.
minority shows. You're watching CBS, your grandpa stuff. I can't trust your opinion.
He's a
on this.
grandpa guy. Yeah. What do you watch, Owen? What's your show besides Sonic the Hedgehog?
Oh, the best show on Netflix right now is You. Season 2
That's
just
supposed to be
ended.
very good. Yeah.
It's a
Season 2 was good, but
delicious.
it's not as good as season 1. That's- I'm
Tiger
just gonna
King?
say
You're
it.
watching the Tiger King?
Oh,
Tiger King was
man,
good.
Carol Baskin.
That's all you have to say.
Don't
That's all
say
you have
it.
to say.
Don't say it.
Carol Baskin.
Don't say it.
I
No,
only
I'm
watched it
telling
via
you,
TikTok
The
meme. Am I
Ozarks
missing out?
just came out with season
Ozark's
3.
good.
Amazing.
I haven't
I
seen
never
Ozarks.
watched-
I've heard good things.
I had
I've heard
never
it's really
watched it,
good.
so Lisa and I sat down because we heard such good things about season 3. So we sat down. It's very good.
It's
I like
amazing.
it. Yeah, it's very good. You know what? The best show I've seen this
last
quarantine?
thing.
Go ahead.
Platform on Netflix. It is an adaptation of a European movie, so it's a voice dub, but I don't watch voice dubs. It's the best voice dub ever. People are on different levels. Food starts off at the top, full rank. You get a minute to eat. By the time you get down to the
Oh,
bottom,
God, that's disgusting.
Okay, wait. Say it again.
No.
What's it called?
Is it a
it's called
reality
The
show?
Platform. No, it's a one-off movie. It's an hour and a half. It basically
I hear amazing
shows you
things about this
capitalism
movie. Yeah.
in its worst form. So I'll just say there's 10 levels. There's more than 10, but I'll just say 10 because I want to get the story away. There's 10 levels. Every month you start off on a different level. So if you're on level 1 and you got to eat all the good food, and then the next month you were at level 10 and you were left with no food, when you get back up to level 1, what do? Do you eat sparingly, knowing that people at the bottom don't get any, or do you still gorge because you went a whole month without food? And this whole thing is it's a mind trip. It is great.
82% on Rotten Tomatoes.
So the other thing that's been bothering me about Netflix lately is they keep raising prices and constraining service. Like I've got to pay more for the HD, I got to pay more for different televisions. And in an age of Disney Plus and all the other services, just having flat rates, they're pretty generous with how many screens and stuff you can watch. I think I got 3 Netflix price hikes in the course of a year, and then I had to look at it and say, if I unsubscribe from HD, then I can only watch it on one time, like one 480p screen.
Is anybody stupid enough
It must be a Canada thing. My price has been $12.99 for the last year and a half.
No, you get the
They
guys
did go
because you're
price
getting the full deal. You're getting the full meal deal.
And I got this thing on 47 screens right now. I legit probably had this thing on 40 screens. So I don't really know what's going on up there in Canada, but down here in America, we sharing and caring out here. Okay, there's 5 accounts on here.
They're probably just
and
not
those 5
policing your
accounts got
login.
5 people going into those accounts. Okay, just so we're clear. I don't even
Send
pay
me your
for my
login.
Netflix.
I'm going to watch this American Netflix you're talking about.
My Netflix doesn't even. I don't even pay for my Netflix. My Netflix is my friend's Netflix because I pay for Hulu, so he gets my Hulu, and then
that was my question: is who is dumb enough to pay for Hulu? Anybody pay for Hulu?
We don't get it
I
here.
pay for Hulu.
But I pay for Crave, which is the Bell version of Hulu.
So do you pay for? Oh, you don't get it. That's so. We got 2 Canadians. They can't. So this is not for you guys. This is for you, Owen. Devs. Devs.
I have it on record. I'm waiting till it's done. I'm just going to binge
the last episode. The season ender is Thursday.
Then I'll blow right through it on Friday.
Watch them all now so you can watch Thursday live because it's going to be amazing. I think. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's wild. This is a very good show.
The only thing I do live is twit.tv. Otherwise, my life is a binge mode.
Okay. All right.
So you're living in the past or the future?
Hulu is usually a complete wasteland for me, but that show it's an FX show. So you don't even need Hulu. You can record FX, I guess.
Well, they're sending all the edgy Disney content to Hulu now because they keep requisitioning these shows and then chickening out of airing them. And so they send them to Hulu where they're allowed to have.
What is edgy Disney content? What is that?
Apparently almost everything. I think like most of the original shows ended up not being on Disney Plus. They pushed them to Hulu instead. And now
that's
even
right.
Lizzie McGuire was too edgy for Disney, so she wants to go to Hulu now.
That's why I'm not going to pay. I'm not going to pay for Disney Plus once my free year runs out.
There's also
Baby Yoda season 2 is finished.
Cloak and Dagger is on Hulu.
That's supposed to be good. Yeah.
Runaways is on Hulu, and The Gifted is on Hulu. Also, those are all Disney properties. They're Marvel stuff, but they are a little bit more graphic and racy, so they put them on Hulu.
I liked, what was that? The other guys, the bad guys, the Marvel, the heroes who were like turned out to be
that's Amazon though.
Real jerks.
That's Amazon.
That was good.
Yeah, that's Amazon. The Boys.
The Boys.
The Boys. That's great. Season 2 is coming out soon on that.
That was good.
So
that was good.
Micah must have known all the nice things you were saying about him because he showed up in chat.
I saw him tweet me. It made me angry. I had to smile and grin at and
stuff. Showed up in chat. He says he likes devs too. Okay. Let's take a little tiny break. We got more tech news in just a bit. Georgia Dow, she's sipping a cup. It's great to have you. Anxiety-videos.com. Oh, Dr. IQMZ.com. That's where you'll get Raisin a Ninja. He's ready to eat up a great big feast of soap with oatmeal in it.
Right.
And, and Renee Ritchie, youtube.com/Renee Ritchie, YouTube's newest star. Our show today brought to you by Worldwide Technology. I'll never forget the last trip I made before quarantine. I flew to St. Louis early in March to see Worldwide Technology's Advanced Technology Center, and I am so glad I did. What an amazing place that is. So they started building this 10 years ago. It's now grown. It was in one building, now it's 2, then 3, then 4. It's been growing like crazy. Originally designed so that Worldwide Tech's engineers could build proofs of concept and pilots for their customers. They sell enterprise technology to some of the best, biggest companies in the world. And so they were using the ATC as like kind of a sandbox, show customers what it's going to look like, that kind of thing. Over the years, they've added $500 million worth of enterprise technology. I mean, everybody's in there. In fact, I was just drooling. We're walking down the racks and, oh my God, look, there's VMware. Oh, there's Dell EMC. Oh my God, there's Microsoft. There's Equinix. It's all in there. Big guys, the little guys, everything. And that's one of the reasons people love, they call it Silicon Valley in St. Louis. One of the reasons people love WWT because they are a trusted partner that stays with you over the years, and customers stay with them over the years. Many of them have been with them for more than a decade. WWT is where you go to get the answers you need to make sure your business runs right. And I love this ATC, the Advanced Technology Center, because they have on-demand and schedulable labs for you, their customers, like VMware Cloud on AWS. You could try it. You could pound on it. You can see how it works, along with hundreds of other labs representing the newest advances in network virtualization and software-defined data centers, security, digital workspace, multi-cloud architecture, automation, and more. And this is a perfect thing for you to play with right now because it's a service. You don't have to go to St. Louis. It's virtual. You can use a dedicated lab space within the Advanced Technology Center, perform your own programmatic testing using this amazing $500 million ecosystem that WWT's already built, 24/7 from anywhere in the world. WWT's engineers use this technology every day. In fact, when we toured the lab, I met a number of people who were TWiT fans or old Screensavers fans. I met one guy who said, I grew up watching the Screensavers. Now I'm doing this. I said, do you love it? He says, the best job I ever had. They love working in there because they're beta testing new solutions based on the latest and greatest VMware technologies. They're building reference architectures. They're building custom integrations to help their customers. And man, when WWT puts it together, they put it together right from beginning to end. This digital platform encompassing the entire ATC ecosystem is just one example. It's a multiplier effect of knowledge and speed and agility anytime, anywhere in the world for WWT customers. You'll get access to articles, case studies, those hands-on labs, all the tools you need to make the world, the brand new digital world, work for you. To learn more about WWT, the ATC, whether you're just getting started or whether you're ready to take on the next challenge, if you're an enterprise technology user, maybe you're just getting into the cloud, or maybe you already multi-homed, and whatever level you're at, this is the place to go to get more. WWT.com/twit. Create an account. Get those on-demand labs. You'll be blown away by all the services they offer. App development too, by the way. WWT simplifies the complex. WWT.com/twit. They're kings of agile development. They have agile training. They just do so many great things. WWT, delivering business and technology outcomes around the world. And we love having them as a sponsor of This Week in Tech. Go on over there and check it out. WWT.com/twit. Twit. It's interesting to see which companies are thriving in this ecosystem and which, this new COVID-19 world we're living in. Of course, you mentioned it, Owen, U.S. has become a service economy, and those are the companies that are struggling, restaurants and travel and all of that. But there are companies that will come out of this stronger and better than ever, don't you think?
Sure. I don't know who's going to pay for their services, but they're going to come out of it stronger and better. And
do you think Google will come out stronger and better?
What Google is forever.
Google is forever. Yes.
Richie was talking about how, I assume in my future I will be one day wearing Google socks and Amazon underwear, and you know what I mean, like an Apple hat,
computer, right?
That's how I legitly assume how the future will go. Google, no matter what, is not going anywhere. Information is king. They're king of information. And
it seems to me that any company that has enough resources, like Apple has, $200 billion or more in the bank, to weather this storm, will come out on the other side into a competitive environment where they're the survivors.
It's going to be the startups, though, right? Like the new companies that are finding a foothold. Because out of every one of these recessions, there's been a whole new series of companies that I think some people imagined them. I certainly didn't. That just sprung up, and now they took advantage of the new situation. They didn't cower down. They went in.
Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah. They call it disaster-tunity.
The dot-com boom in the previous recession, there were people who took massive, not advantage in a bad way, but they took massive advantage of the opportunities that presented themselves and built entirely new businesses.
Airbnb, what do you think? They'll survive? They're really struggling, right?
Airbnb and WeWork. Oh my goodness. People keep trying to peddle this thing about WeWork, and now people are going to have to work from home, and they're going to work in the office space. Yeah, they're going to be working from home office space.
Yeah, and the rent that WeWork pays those facilities, that's still due even if you have nobody in.
They were also fake. Like real Airbnb will be fine, but the people who bought 18 different condos who legally rent out as a fake hotel chain. I mean,
that's almost like the same people that are going to be returning toilet paper in a couple of weeks, right?
Man. Yeah. And the sad part is they can't return it because there's no return policy now in place. So you're stuck with that TP and that hand sanitizer on your credit card because you made a boo-boo. I feel nothing for those people on Airbnb that did what they did. I giggled like a little schoolgirl when I read that.
Zero.
Oh man, it's gotta. You know what? I shouldn't laugh about that, but it's gotta destroy your mindset because at some point you think, I'll get 1, 2 properties, 3. But when you start getting 10, 12, like the one guy had 18, I'm like, dude, okay. At this point, you're a hotel. You should just open a hotel if that's what you're gonna do. If you've leveraged that much money to do what you're doing, then you deserve what is happening to you right now because you over leveraged yourself and you were
anything that has no
foundation.
Prices
you were getting. Yes.
Yeah,
and something you don't control.
No foundation, it caught up with you. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is people take a look and think that the model of this is going to stay the same. No one expected us to go through a pandemic. The last time was 100 years ago. No one expected it, so they thought about it, and this is what sometimes happens. And those that can evolve will, and those that can't will, let, a normal democracy will take care of it. And
some of it's luck, though. Some of it is you chose a business that happens to do well in the work at home environment. True. And Zoom is a good example. Google Meet, they say they've got 2 million new users every single day. 2 billion minutes of video calls in March. Daily usage is 25 times higher than it was in January.
And it's weird that Facebook doesn't have a property for this. Like, you'd think that they would have their own complete, they would have had years ago their own complete Zoom.
Well, Messenger is, I saw Messenger stats too. Messenger's going.
Yeah, and WhatsApp.
And WhatsApp.
There are some things.
Yeah, it's going.
They actually had to shut down
it's
their
not
WhatsApp
a Zoom thing.
Yeah.
Facebook's also offering free portals to some home care residents in Britain under the NHS.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Facebook.
Facebook.
Oh, Doctor, don't.
Oh, Facebook.
Good for them.
I went back. Okay, I'm ashamed to admit this. I'm ashamed to admit this. I went back on Facebook and Instagram. Just for now.
Do you know what? I was so angry at that, Uncle Leo, because for 4 minutes you made me look at my Facebook because I'm like, this isn't Leo friend requested me.
I know.
He wouldn't come back here.
I did the same thing.
So
I can't say no, so I had to press yes.
It was really funny. People were asking me questions like, okay, if this is the real Leo, Scott Harriet asked me this. What did I shout every time on Internet Tonight? This is 20 years ago. I said, I don't know what the hell you shouted.
I literally accepted it just on the off chance that it was you, and I didn't want to be disrespectful because I literally looked at it for 4 minutes like, that's not him.
Don't get your hopes up. I'm not gonna. I don't know. I should post something, but mostly it's so I can keep track of family and friends who are only there to make sure they're doing all right. As soon as we come out of quarantine, I'm gone. I'm out of there.
Okay, good.
It's horrible.
But everyone should can we? Yeah, Facebook's the devil. Can we please let it die a natural death?
It reminded me when I got on it. How bad it is.
And just before we get off the topic, just speaking of companies doing well.
Yes.
Amazon and the guy who was complaining about people buying non-essential stuff, he ranted about dildos, and that's what got him national coverage because, people shouldn't be buying dildos, which again, in quarantine, I think that actually might be a necessity product.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm not going to say
I don't think anyone wants a rental business in the quarantine.
Well, you shouldn't rent dildos. No.
No, that's what I'm saying. I said it for you. I think that might actually be a necessity thing, but I do think Amazon is complicit and corrupt in putting people's lives in jeopardy by letting people buy things that are non-essential items and having people work in those factories, ship stuff out, and deliver things. The postal system is getting destroyed right now with people getting sick, and they're not having enough money to flow through it. So Amazon is always doing what Amazon does, and they say they care, but they don't care.
But wait a minute. Amazon has made 100,000 new jobs. They've hired 80,000 of those. Those are people who
they put 80,000 more people in the line of danger who need a job to survive. And these essential people are working on the front lines. The kid up here at my grocery store.
I actually think you're safer working at Amazon than you're doing at the grocery store.
Ask Amazon employees. There's an article in here that we can read about where Amazon employees do not agree with you, Uncle Leo. People that are working in the warehouse do not feel safe. Amazon isn't reporting when people get the coronavirus, and after they get the coronavirus, they're not cleaning up the warehouses properly afterwards. That's not me talking. Those are people that are in the warehouse.
This is a Wired article. 9 Amazon workers who say they're terrified. They're terrified for their health and that of their families working at Amazon.
So I'm not giving them kudos for hiring and putting more people at risk in the line of duty. Again, we need these people, but would we need them if we were only delivering and doing essential things?
Well, look, Amazon has enough money to do everything they can to protect those workers.
But they do not.
And if they don't, that's unconscionable.
Shows how much they really care about their people because they could afford to do it and do it right.
I have to say, the only evidence I have to the contrary is one of our, and who knows, maybe it's a bot account, but in our TWiT forums, the twit.community forums, one of our listeners who's a regular in the forum said, yeah, I lost my job or I'm out of work, so I signed up and worked at Amazon, and he was talking about all the things that they did, and I thought I was very impressed. It sounded like they were doing everything they could to protect these guys. So maybe it depends on the warehouse you're in,
or maybe because he's new, he doesn't know better about it yet. Because when you first go in, things seem rosy, and when they tell you things, it's just like when you go on a first date. She doesn't tell you that she's crazy till the third or fourth. Okay, you gotta kind of figure it out. The first couple, everybody's coming up roses. Again, I just think that they should be doing more because they have the power to do more, and they don't. And it's just showing what the moral compass of the company is. And I understand their company is capitalism. They have to do what they have to do. But I feel for the people that are working on the front lines, the kids at the grocery store or adults at the grocery store. At least they have shields and stuff up now and things
workers.
like that.
Yeah.
And they're on the lower end. A lot of them don't have the best health insurance. So if they do happen to get sick, there's just so much to this that just is sad and frustrating.
Here's what Ra wrote. He said, I'm actually working in his Amazon warehouse at the moment. With our business closed and the extra time, I noticed Amazon were advertising. I always wanted to see how warehouses work and if they are as bad as the news suggested. So I applied for a temporary part-time job. There are a lot of things in place for COVID. We keep 2 meters apart everywhere. Lots of cleaning of handles, doors, tables, etc. in the canteen. Cleaning the scanner and the ARM computer. That's the thing they wear as they pick. Only one person per table in the canteen. Shift times are staggered to stop everyone arriving at the same time. When I signed in this morning to my scanner, I was asked some questions from Amazon about if these measures are being obeyed. And so this guy said it sounds pretty good.
But they're not giving masks. If there's no masks, then
he
what
says
does it
gloves
matter?
and masks are handed out on entry rather than being just available. Temperatures taken on arrival. More and more tape markings on the floor everywhere indicating proper spacing.
And hopefully they're doing those things and they're doing them more often. But
as of today, he just put an update in today. Everyone must now wear a face mask as of today.
I can't ignore the fact that thousands of people are protesting and walking out from their jobs and complaining about it. This sounds great, and I hope that this is accurate and that it spreads like wildfire across their company and organization.
Well,
yeah, but that they only started to wear the face masks today makes me take back a little bit the good on Amazon. Like, they knew about this for a really long time. No doubt this is public pressure.
But if you're keeping, wait a minute, if you're keeping 2 meters away, I don't know how important a face mask is.
I'm sorry, if someone coughs on you, that goes further than 2 meters away. Everyone,
yes, it's particulates,
right?
And they stay in the air, and they're in the air for, depending on their proximity, 1 to 20 minutes. The particulates can still be in the air. That's why we discussed earlier, Uncle Leo, any cover is better than no cover because it lessens your viral load that you can get out, and it is useful. So they should be doing it. That's why it's finally being mandated. So don't minimize that, Uncle Leo.
Can't Judge Judy Ko just order Jeff Bezos to do a shift in every Amazon warehouse, and then they'll be forced to do the best protections on earth?
Amazon's
part of the antitrust
Amazon's
agreement.
response to the Wired article is they've made 150 changes, including distributing face masks, instituting social distancing protocol, all the things that Ross said. They're also checking for temperature when people arrive. Obviously, that's not enough because of asymptomatic people. They raised wages for hourly workers. I don't know.
That sounds great. That sounds great. But I guess it took an article and people to complain and have their lives at risk for weeks on end before they actually did something about it. So great. Appreciate you. Double thumbs up.
Yeah.
Where would you shop?
Everyone kind of.
Would you not shop at Amazon because of this?
Oh, that's so horrible. I'm a bad person. I still shop at Amazon. I do love Amazon stuff. It's horrible. I know they treat their people badly. So
where are you going to get your 5 pounds of glycerin soap?
I actually get my glycerin from brambleberry.com. Thank you very much.
Do you think Brambleberry has better warehouse policies?
It has it took me 2 weeks to get this soap, so I assume that it's better because they said they're working at half staff and things are going to take a little bit longer. Also, when Amazon pushed you back 3 weeks on my products and I'm paying for Prime, somebody owes me $129 because I paid for next day, 2 day, not 3 full week, 4 weeks. So, okay, that's secondly. Now, thirdly, last thing, I'm an American citizen.
Amazon is not protecting the workers, and I want my money back on Amazon Prime.
I am an American citizen, and of course, I'm a hypocrite that still shops on Amazon. What do you think I am, Uncle Leo? A saint? I am not. I expect them to do better than me because Bezos has $1 billion. I ain't got $2, Uncle Leo, so I will do what I need to do to survive, and I will chastise them for not doing what they need to do for others to survive because this is America.
You know who else has $1 billion? Jack Dorsey, Twitter CEO, founder of Square. He is donating $1 billion of his Square stock to COVID-19 relief and other charities. He's putting $1 billion towards his Start Small fund. And then he says after this is over, the rest of the money will operate to girls' health. Will go to girls' health and education. And he said all the flows of funds are tracked in a Google spreadsheet, which everybody can see. That's interesting.
Can I tell you something again, Uncle Leo? Because I'm in a rant mood. We got to get on one more story, too, so I can rant about it. Let me tell you something. For Jeff Bezos wanted to give $10 billion to, like, the environment and all this kind of stuff. This man didn't have to build a website. He didn't have to get a whole team together.
He used a Google
spreadsheet. It on a spreadsheet so you could actually go and look at it. I don't want to hear from one philanthropist, one go-do-gooder. You know what? We should cure cancer tomorrow. I don't need a foundation. I don't need 45 people. All I need is a spreadsheet and some money donated. We could get this thing done, because that is how you do something. That's how you show people that you're serious about it and that you mean what you say and you're putting your money where your mouth is. I love that, man. I don't love everything that he's done.
I have to say, he gets a lot of respect for that. It's
straight up.
It's 28% of his fortune, so it's more than a quarter of his fortune.
I'm not giving up 0.2% of my fortune right now, Uncle Leo.
I know.
It's all invested in soap stock.
I'm giving it up to the stock market, but not to charities. $100,000 to America's Food Fund, which is a GoFundMe. $2.1 million to the Mayor's Fund in L.A., helping domestic violence victims in L.A. As a result of the COVID-19 Safer at Home order. Wow, I didn't even really think about that, but yeah, if you're stuck quarantining with an abuser, that's a nightmare.
Yeah.
So well done. This is America's Food Fund. This is actually this is the thing that Lorene Powell Jobs and Leonardo DiCaprio put together, which is actually a great fundraiser. They have raised $13.8 million to funding people who are hungry. Money goes to a variety of organizations, Jose Andres organization, the World Central Kitchen, Chefs for America. This is, if you're thinking about how can I help out, I think this might be a really good way to help out. Because did you see the pictures of the cars, 10,000 people in San Antonio at the food bank waiting in their cars to get a couple of bags of groceries? It was just heartbreaking. It was just heartbreaking. So that's GoFundMe.com/America's Food Fund.
You can also,
well done, Jack.
We're running on our Mac. It's Folding at Home, where you can help use your computer power to be able to help find a cure for COVID-19.
Give some money instead. I know.
Really, if you're going to do some supporting, why don't you go all the way and get healthcare
turn that on
for everyone,
too.
so you don't have to worry about people being fed. But
this is America. We're not going to do that, Georgia.
Canadianness on
Don't go
my
crazy.
Side of the fence.
You sound like a socialist when you say that. Yeah.
And Bill Gates has the coronavirus covered. Okay, Bill Gates has all the computer power he needs to come up with a solution for us and save America. Okay, Bill's on it.
Okay.
Hey, here's a scary one. Travelex was hacked on New Year's Eve. I remember this hack. Travelex, if you've ever gone to the airport on the way to an international destination, you stop at Travelex and at great expense buy. Okay, on our last trip, this is probably our last trip for a long time. We were going to Israel, and so Lisa went to Travelex to buy Israeli shekels, and gave them money. And got it back. I even have a picture of her holding up what I thought were shekels. Then we tried to spend them in Israel. The guy said, "These are Swiss francs. What are you doing?" But it has a happy ending because it was about $200 more worth of Swiss francs than we paid for. So, but nevertheless, I don't think that was related to the hack. They paid hackers 285 Bitcoin to get access back to their system after a ransomware attack. That's about $2.3 million in today's Bitcoin. That is ridiculous. That is crazy.
I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah. Actually, just a word of warning. Everybody listening is probably sophisticated enough not to fall for any of these, but there are massive numbers of ransomware, COVID-related ransomware, and other phishing attacks. Be very careful. And now that people are working from home, I think they say, oh, here's an opportunity to get those naive people who were protected by the IT department. They're now on their own, right? And
if there's a Facebook link saying, give me your name of your mom's maiden name and other information, the road that you don't answer them.
No, please don't. Taiwan, by the way, like the Canadian government, has now banned Zoom. So I'm wondering if Zoom can recover from this.
Well, they just have, I mean, like, I wonder, they're not so much bans as they are recognition that they're not secure software. If they solve for that, they'll probably be taken off the list.
Yeah. Germany, don't use Zoom. The United States Senate, don't use Zoom. And I hope you saw Saturday Night Live's Zoom meeting. I played a little bit of it before the show. I'm not going to play it on the show because Carson will yell at me again. But the funniest part is when one of the less sophisticated users of Zoom takes the laptop into the bathroom because she has to pee, and the monitor.
That was based on a real thing, right? Like, wasn't that a big story last week? Someone was taking it into the.
That was like 2 weeks ago. That's the one thing. Certain things like that didn't even amuse me because that happened in the real world. The woman was on Zoom. She was taking her laptop with her, not even realizing that she was on video, and she sits down and. All of her teammates, there's like 8 of them, no one says anything to her. They all just start giggling, and the one person's still trying to talk. And then finally she realizes that everyone can see her on the toilet, and she freaks out and runs and shuts the laptop.
No, that's horrible.
It was to die for. It was so amusing. So it was hilarious, though. They did steal that from real life. Richie's right.
Is this being caused by 5G towers?
Yes. No, please don't, Leo.
You people know better.
People believe... There's like this weird, and maybe Georgia knows the story, but like there's this weird oppositional personality disorder where people feel like everything in the world is moving so fast. If they just make up a conspiracy, at least they can control the conspiracy.
Maybe that's
and have some semblance of like.
Maybe that's
They won't believe in climate change or vaccines, but if you tell them that coronavirus is caused by 5G and they can vaccinate against it, maybe then they'll do it.
There's been arson and sabotage against cell towers in England, in the Netherlands.
In countries without 5G, they've been blaming it on 5G.
Where did that come from?
Okay.
Wasn't it like Woody Harrelson tweeted it and someone else famous
Did Woody Harrelson tweet it?
He was one of the first people, and there was another celebrity who tweeted it.
Oh, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me talk about this.
The thing is, okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Joe. Okay. So, Black people believe this with all their heart. I'm just going to put it as a general blanket statement because I have family members, friends DMing me banned videos every 5 seconds, okay? So first of all, if the video says banned on it, I'm not clicking it because if it's banned, how am I watching it? How did you watch it? You moron.
It's not actually banned, is it?
Yeah, it's not banned. It tells you in the title that it's bull naggle, okay? Second of all, okay, 5G isn't even real. They put 5G on phones before 5G was even available. And 5G, if you want to say, okay, let me give you some good conspiracies out there, okay? If you want to say a bat transformed into the virus and someone ate something in the market and then it spread, great. You want to say a guy in a school built a virus that he wanted to contain, but it got uncontained and it mutated, they lost it, and you want to blame it on the man and they're trying to get it. Cool. If you want to blame it on the government, saying that they just want to get rid of people collecting Social Security, it is targeted at older people to get them off so we can have a better healthcare system so not weighing out. Cool. If you want to say Bill Gates wants to get another $1 billion by putting the chip in me, not the chip, but the vaccine, cool. But what I will not stand for, listen to, condone, or understand is how you're telling me that the radiation that you sit on the phone and scroll through in your body all day, every day, the microwave that you cook your food on because you don't cook no more, you're worried about that giving you a virus? No, it might give you a headache. It might give you cancer over 25 years, but it's definitely not giving you flu-like symptoms coast to coast, passing from person to person. It is not 5G because guess what? Somebody in Milwaukee, Montana, Oklahoma, they don't even have 5G yet, but the virus is spreading there. So if you don't shut up about this 5G and stop burning down these towers, I might stab you in the face repeatedly. Don't email me, don't DM me, don't message me.
Don't send me no banned videos that are really banned.
Cory Doctorow had a great thread on this too.
Friend that posts about it. Everybody, it's insane.
Cory Doctorow was saying like every time there's a new technology comes out, they get these reports saying it's giving me headaches, and they're like, we have not even turned them on yet.
Yeah.
And with the towers are there and people forget about them, the stuff all goes like it's human nature to expect the worst and to find reasons for things and to have mass hysteria. We've been using all these signals for a long time. We're just packaging data through them better now. That's like the only change is what we're actually sending over these waves. And it's really strange that people will believe the most outlandish things, but not science.
Here's the cartoon
right
from Michael Ramirez in the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Woody Harrelson tweeted that 5G may have caused the coronavirus pandemic. That's the woman says. Her husband says, obviously, it causes brain damage. Go ahead.
We are
Go ahead.
so much more primed right now, though, for these type of conspiracy theories because we're at home. What is everyone doing? They're surfing on the media for stuff. And this pandemic is such a massive thing that people don't understand. It's really scary. And when we're scared, our brains we don't get smarter.
Yeah.
We get, we're not as intelligent. We're like, and it's much easier for someone to say, this is the reason for it. Whenever it's like when there was a cataclysmic event, people were like, no, we have to throw people into volcanoes. That will make this better. And the volcano won't be so angry at us. That we can understand. It's something that's concrete. So people look to what has changed, what can I do? And 5G I can control. A little tiny virus that is spread through people that almost everyone's going to get is really frightening. I can't control that. So in a way, it's soothing to think that it's 5G and we just have to get rid of a whole bunch of towers.
By the way,
we'll be safe again.
A year ago, the New York Times warned that RT, the Russian government-funded television network, was airing a report that 5G might kill you. That this may be more disinformation from Russia. Which
and besides that, Georgia, you'll appreciate this. Some of these people that are complaining about this, I'm saying to myself, okay, so you're sitting in your house for the last 2 weeks. You're drinking beer and vodkas. You're not drinking water at all during the day. You're eating sugary snacks and candy foods and your pop belly and bread and donuts. And then you don't go outside, get no vitamin D, no fresh air, playing Xbox video games. Your phone's glued to your face all day. And you're saying you don't feel good because of 5G. No, it's because you haven't drank any water. You haven't got up off your fat butt and walked around the block. And you haven't looked up at the sun. Okay, you need to see the sun. They didn't say don't go outside and look up. They said don't go hang out at somebody else's house. So again, if you don't shut up about this 5G causing this virus, I want to lose my mind.
All right, let's take a little break. We're getting long here, but I'm just having so much fun with you guys. Owen J.J. Stone. That's Doctor, everybody. IQMZ.com.
Woot, woot.
Woot, woot, in the house. That's Georgia Dow, wootin' the woot. She's always welcome on our stage. If you are feeling a little anxiety, Georgia is a professional licensed therapist. You can email her. She'll be glad to talk to you. Georgia@westmounttherapy.com. She also sells those great anxiety videos she does with her partner at anxiety-videos.com. Always love having Georgia Dow on. Don't hold it against her that she has 4 VR rooms in her house. It's not her fault. She just loves the virtual reality, doesn't she? And, of course, Renee Ritchie, the new YouTube star. YouTube.com/Renee Ritchie. You may not have 5G, but you really do want to have Wi-Fi 5. You want to have good Wi-Fi, and this is the problem these days with Wi-Fi. We're doing more with our Wi-Fi than ever before. We've got dozens of devices, Internet of Things devices. Your neighbor's got the super Wi-Fi booster. Wi-Fi's broken. That's why I use Eero and recommend it. Eero is the Wi-Fi your home deserves. Eero Mesh Wi-Fi. And right now, a very special offer. It's never been this inexpensive. For a limited time, Eero Mesh Wi-Fi starts at $79.
What?
So if you've been suffering, now's the time. Eero blankets your home with fast, reliable Wi-Fi, eliminating poor coverage, dead spots, and buffering. You'll have a consistently strong signal. We use Eero. My son is homeschooling. He's using the Eero. My wife is working in the living room at her desk all day long doing Zoom meetings. She uses Eero. I'm in my office doing whatever it is I do using Eero, and I tell you, it just is so robust. And I love the Eero app. Actually, I don't have it here, but oh yeah, I love the Eero app. I do have it here because I can always see what's going on. I can pause Michael's Wi-Fi at 9 or 10 so he goes to bed. There's no more Netflix buffering in the master bedroom. No more kids complaining their Xbox isn't working. No more worrying your security cameras offline. I have everything on the Eero, including, by the way, all the outdoor cameras, the doorbell, my IoT devices. I don't know, let me see how many devices I have. Quite a few right now on my Eero. I think 3 or 4 dozen. And I like it so much I got it from my mom, and I can even maintain her network from here. I could switch over to Mom's network. She's in Rhode Island. If she complains about something going wrong, you see, I've extended Eero throughout the house. We got the gateway in the office. We got the hallway, the guest hallway, the bedroom, the gym. Eero is everywhere. I could see Michael's devices. I could see the entertainment devices. I could see the activity. I get my download speeds. I could see security too. How many scans, how many problems, how many issues we've had. This is really a great tool. Eero couldn't be more powerful, more useful, and it gets better all the time because Eero is always getting updated automatically. You don't have to remember to update it. It updates itself. If you've been suffering with bad Wi-Fi, your suffering is over. Get yours fixed. In fact, you can get it fixed by tomorrow if you go to Eero.com/twit. Use the offer code TWIT at checkout for free overnight shipping. You don't suffer. We're all using the internet more than ever before now. You need Eero, EERO.com/twit. Please use the code TWIT at checkout so that they see you saw it here and you'll get it overnight delivered for you. You can now start with these little new Eero modules as low as $79 and then build it up as you go, as you need it.
You're pushing all my buttons there, Uncle Leo. I have
good.
the system, and so I could add an extra one for $79. I might have to do that.
I know.
Even though right now my signal's really good, but I was thinking about running a line outside to my shed, so when I'm in the back part of the yard,
put Eero in your shed.
A little bit stronger.
Put Eero in your pool house.
For $79, I could be greedy.
Put Eero in the stables with the horses. Put Eero everywhere in your entire estate. Owen J.J.
That's right.
Stone. Yeah.
That's
Eero,
right.
Eero.com/twit. Thank you, Eero, for supporting us during this difficult time. And thank you for supporting us by going to Eero.com/twit. You can get it overnight because this is essential if you're working from home. This is something you got to have.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot
Happy
of
Passover.
Happy Passover.
Yep.
Happy Easter.
Happy Passover. Happy Easter.
They're linked somehow inextricably. I know a lot of people who had, in fact, Mark Sukoning is one of our fans. We call him Eye Doc Mark because he's an eye doctor in Upper New York State. Had a Seder, a Passover dinner with 50 people in a Zoom. Scott Wilkinson did the same thing, and he said the only problem is we couldn't all sing because there's some moments as you're going through the Haggadah where you sing. He said we'd had to take turns singing because obviously Zoom is not good at trying to sync up and sing. But this was the Zoom. This will be remembered long as the Zoom Passover, right?
Yeah,
it's quite a thing. This is such an important event in the Jewish year. It is kind of the equivalent of Thanksgiving, really. It's where families and friends get together. They share a meal. They talk about, they relive the history of the Exodus from Egypt. It is the most commonly celebrated holiday among Jewish people. And so I think it's a big deal. But I think, did you, Dr. Mom, was your Seder a Zoom Seder? Dr. Mom in our chat room is famous for her massive feasts for Seder.
Yeah, there were a ton on Twitter too. Everyone was posting them last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made me super sad because we usually go to our friends' Passover at Leah was very upset we didn't get the matzo ball soup this year.
I'm making matzo ball soup tonight.
We were going to make latkes, but we couldn't.
Waiting for the latkes.
Yeah.
We couldn't get potatoes.
Zoom, unfortunately, does not do a good latke. But yeah, it's hard. I mean, these are the times when and yet at the same time, again, there's something different. It's different, but I don't know if it's. I mean, it's also. I think I see more of my mom now than I have ever had because I'm always.
Thank goodness for the internet. Can you imagine doing this in the non-internet age?
It would have been horrible. It was horrible for the people that went through the Spanish flu.
Yeah.
It's a horrible thing to have to be across. But I think that it makes us appreciate people. We've been so spoiled that it makes us appreciate what we have. It makes me appreciate being able to buy eggs or being able to see people and how much I miss them.
No kidding.
So hopefully we keep that part.
We have
also
and the hand washing.
We have two doors down from us, the Peterson's egg farm, and they have free range hens. And actually, they're perfect for Easter. You don't have to dye them because they're red, brown, green, white. They're every color of the rainbow. But they were completely sold out because everybody, has discovered you don't have to go to the store to get eggs. In fact, and the nice thing is this is a good social distancing thing. This is one of the reasons I love Petaluma. It's still very much old school farm country. You just drive up their driveway. There's a barn with a fridge in it. You open the fridge, you take your eggs, you leave your money, you don't see anybody, and you go. And it's the best.
That's awesome.
It's the best eggs you've ever had in your life. These chickens are happy, happy chickens. It's really delicious.
The thing about taking things for granted, again, something that Leah reminded me of, we were talking about Zoom and all that kind of stuff, and she was just saying how she felt bad that some of these kids are going to be left behind. And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, some of my friends don't have internet, and some of my friends don't have a laptop, or they couldn't afford the iPads. So
they're not going to school.
They went, she said they're finally starting to get some of the kids, I guess through a funding or whatever, get kids laptops. And then now that they've, Comcast has things where they're giving people free internet, at least a low cost internet. And it never dawned on me that kids are going home without internet. It never dawned on me. Like, I'm like, they couldn't, like, and it's ignorant to say, I was like, they couldn't pay $30 for the iPad. Now the $30 is a cheap buy-in, but you got to spend $150 to insure it, which you get the $150 back. But some people probably couldn't afford that. That's $180 out of pocket to have this tablet, which when you're in school, it's not a direct necessity, but now it is a necessity. And so I was like, what do you mean kids are? She's like, I know people that aren't doing anything because they don't have anything. And I felt so bad because I was like, I can't believe I always talk about you being in the bubble. I'm down here on the ground. And it just never occurred to me that people in my general town community, which we're okay here, just wouldn't have those things, especially for their children.
We all got our own bubbles. Yeah. We all got our own bubbles. And 1/3 of students, high school students in Los Angeles, not logging in for classes. This is from the New York Times, where they say attendance is about 50% right now in schools. There are daunting challenges, they write, for rural communities like Minford, Ohio, where many students live in remote, wooded areas unserved by internet providers. How are you going to get education that way?
Yeah. And she even brought up something too, that what kids are doing. She doesn't do it because I wake up sometimes at like 7 o'clock, 6:30. She's already doing her schoolwork. She's like, some teachers put it in early, so I just get up early so I can get it done by noon. But she said a lot of her friends, the teachers don't bother you about it for 2 weeks. So she's like, some friends don't do work for the whole week and then sit there all day Friday and do all the work in one day. And I'm like, okay. So they're not getting in trouble for not logging in?
Kids are not used to this. They don't know.
But I meant there's no checks and balances for them not logging in. I'm like, there's no consequence for you not logging in to do your work that day. She's like, no. She's like, as long as they get it done.
Dr. Mom says her sister is a high school physics teacher in San Diego. The Board of Education there said, you're not allowed to flunk students this semester. Rightly so, because we don't know what hardships those kids are going through.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, that's her daughter, not her sister. Thank you, Dr. Mom. It's her daughter. I'm sorry to say, this is going to be kind of a regular feature of life these days. Who did the coronavirus get this week? And I'm sad to say that John Horton Conway is the latest victim. 82 years old, a great mathematician. You might know his name because of Conway's Game of Life, which is the most interesting, fascinating mathematical programming game you can ever play. Conway was just, an amazing fellow, beloved by his students, by his friends. He provided puzzles to Martin Gardner in the Scientific American for a decade. That's where the Game of Life first appeared. Dead at 81, thanks to COVID. John Horton Conway. Sorry to have to report that to you. Mac Rumors has done just a little public service announcement. Mac Rumors has put a list together of all the streaming services offering free content and extended trials. So they put this out on a Friday. Go to macrumors.com and you can see all the deals. For instance, maybe you didn't want to pay for Apple TV. They're offering many of their shows for free right now.
Dickinson is good too.
Dickinson, yeah, that's the one I've got to watch because everybody says it's unexpected.
So is For All Mankind. For All Mankind, it's a little bit like the Jennifer Aniston show where it starts off, but then it finishes real hard.
Good. I'm about halfway through it, and I kind of lost interest because it was getting a little soapy. But I will finish
that, but then it finishes hard.
Okay, I will, because I did like it a lot initially. By the way, some of the greatest TV shows ever made are available for free, including True Blood, The Wire, The Sopranos, Silicon Valley, and the funniest show ever made, Veep. HBO is offering that for free.
Detective Pikachu, also Ryan Reynolds is amazing in that.
Really?
Yeah, he is so good.
Sonic, not so much, but Detective Pikachu.
Really?
Pikachu, no offense.
All right. Yeah. Maybe I'll watch it.
It was cute.
He likes
it was
coffee
cute.
a lot.
So,
it's cute.
Some offense taken, but you know, I mean, I've already dedicated my love for you today,
I liked
so I'm gonna let it
Sonic. It was
slide.
okay. It was okay.
You like Sonic a lot, Owen?
If Sonic had a voice like Ryan Reynolds, it would have been better.
The difference is one, what you grew up with too. I grew up playing Sonic the Hedgehog. Like I have my little.
I love it.
I did too.
On the Genesis.
I should have had
Sonic about to come back.
What is that? That's the world's
okay?
smallest Sega Genesis. Where'd you get that?
And Sonic about to come back into I got it from Amazon. Sonic about to come back into
You mean somebody died to send you that? Oh, man. I love my Genesis.
At risk, Uncle Leo.
I
That's
love
what
my
do,
Genesis.
You know what I mean? And look at the little cute controller. I'm about to be living the dream up here. So it's about nostalgia for me.
The game was better than the movie, though.
Pokemon.
Let's be honest. The games are better than the movie.
Not in my heart. Okay. Again, it's a bias, and I fully understand it's a bias, but it's what happens when you see it.
I understand.
It's just how it is.
$69.99.
It's might as well be free.
Might as well be free. Does it come with games on it? It has to, because otherwise.
Oh yeah, it's preloaded.
Oh, it has 81 games on it.
All day.
Sweet.
Sega. You know what I really want?
It's got Vector Man on it. Vector Man, if you never played Vector Man, is amazing. It's an underscribed game. Nobody ever played it but me. But Vector Man is great.
Do they?
The Jurassic Park and the X-Men games are all fire on the Genesis.
Yes. X-Men. Oh, is X-Men on this thing? If X-Men's on this thing, I got to go because I got stuff to do.
I heard the licensing was hard for non-first party games.
Oh, then never mind. I'll stay.
You know what I would actually pay $69.94 for is the Dreamcast. Is there a little Dreamcast available?
They have to. You can make a Dreamcast. I'll send you one.
You can Raspberry Pi it up, Leo.
80s. Oh,
you want me to send you a Raspberry Pi 4? I got you, Uncle Leo. You can go make yourself one. Give you something to do on the weekend.
Because I love
every game system in the world on a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, that's true.
Give you something to do with your mask making.
Let's see. What else? Quibi. Have you watched Quibi?
Quibi's like Apple TV to me. It's dead. I don't believe it's a real thing.
The international
put it on your
pricing is
TV.
not. The international pricing is not great.
Oh.
Their marketing.
What is Quibi? I don't even know what Quibi is.
Quibi
It must be
is
dead.
a short form only video content. They raised more than $1 billion. Hollywood creators Jeffrey Katzenberg, former HP CEO Meg Whitman are partners. And they spent a lot of money. They got LeBron James. They got Chrissy Teigen doing a Judge Judy thing. John Legend shows up as a witness. They've got, my favorite is a weird, they have a lot of reality shows. They've got Punk'd is back, but not Ashton Kutcher. It's Chance the Rapper now doing that. But the weirdest thing is Titus Burgess, who is so good in The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. It's a reality show. And what is it called? They launch, so they take a meal and they blend it and they put it in cannons, and they get two chefs dressed up in protective gear, and they shoot them with the food cannons, and then the chefs have to taste the food and make it, and all of this is in 7 minutes, and they win $5,000 if they get closest.
The thing that's weird about it to me is it's not short form content. It's because they're they seem to still think like Hollywood. To them, it's like, oh, you can go vertical video. That means it's new and fancy. And we'll just, instead of making a whole show, we'll make a show and then cut it up where the commercial breaks would go.
Right. That's basically it.
But it's not like I said this before, but it's like your grandfather is making TikTok. It's every Hollywood thing that's exactly 3 years after the fad is over.
Yeah. It did get 300,000 downloads when it launched this week. Number 3 on the App Store. And here's the best thing: if you play Fortnite, you can watch Punk'd in Fortnite. This is marketing, obviously. It'll be airing.
I hate their marketing.
It'll be airing hourly at Risky Reels, the drive-in theater in Fortnite's Island.
No, people got better things to do in Fortnite than watch this trash.
Kill you while you're watching it.
They run these ads with.
Yeah, really. Aren't you in the battle royale when you're there? Like, you got to be watching the movie. But
I'm not trying to get sniped. And they run ads with their celebrities that are so horrible. Like Reese Witherspoon is on there with
Playing
Cardi
Fortnite?
B's husband. No, she's doing commercials on Instagram Live. Like, oh, what are you doing tonight, Cardi? Oh, well, I'm gonna be on Quibi tonight. What are you doing? Oh, yeah, I have a good show on Quibi too.
Yeah.
Your show's
Yeah.
on tonight. It is abysmal to watch, and it makes me enraged every time I see anything Quibi related. I refuse.
TikTok passes 1 billion installs in the Play Store. All right.
We're all being spied
All
on.
because of Alex Lindsay. All because of Alex Lindsay.
Folks, this has been a ridiculously long episode, but you know what? You don't have anywhere to go.
Nope, we're here.
Quarantine content.
You don't have anything else to do.
We don't.
I can't stop when I got these guys on. It's so much fun. Renee Ritchie, we'll see you Tuesday on Mac Break Weekly.
Yes, sir.
And every Tuesday, he's also on YouTube, youtube.com/Renee Ritchie. Please, I beg of you, please, if you do anything for me today, please subscribe to Renee. Renee Ritchie on YouTube.
I did something fun today, Leo. I got Ian Cuttress from Anantech to explain how thermals actually work to the internet.
That's the kind of quality programming I'm talking about. Actually, that sounds great. I will be watching that. That's hardcore geek content. That's what we can have learned to expect from Renee Ritchie. Georgia Dow, you're a boon to us all. Thank you for being you. Anxiety-videos.com. Thank you for offering up your email, georgia@westmouththerapy.com. What are you doing? Do you do Easter? Did you have the Easter bunny visit?
We didn't. I didn't get any eggs for chocolate, so we haven't yet even hidden anything. We didn't do a meal. We didn't get a lot because, I did none of it. But Doctor and I are going to do our own AMA since we weren't invited to yours.
Invite Karsten. Get them on. That would be the best AMA ever. Ever.
Watch that so hard.
Oh my God. I don't know who arranges those, marketing, whatever. Get these guys on the AMA this week, please. I beg of you. Thank you. I have a ham and a Easter bunny with only one ear left waiting for me. But I'm sorry that you don't for you. Owen, JJ Stone, IQMZ.com, raising a ninja with his daughter, and I can't wait to buy Leah's soap.
Okay, so hang on, Uncle Leo. I got some good messaging for you. Come here. Sit.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me. I got over the
duck in.
There's Leah. Hi, Leah.
Say hi.
Boy, you've grown up a lot since I saw you last. What are you, 18 now?
No, I mean, you can call me 2. I mean, I've grown up a lot.
I want soap.
We got her head shaved.
I know. Right? I love that. I love the haircut.
Her side haircut.
That's
I cut her hair.
Yeah.
I've been giving her shape ups.
Are you using a Flowbee for those, Owen? Are you using the Flowbee?
Oh, no. We got clippers over here, dog. This is an African-American household. I got 3 sets of clippers. But Leah wants to shave all this off, and I'm trying to preserve it, but she just wants it to be short. Oh, Leah, Uncle Leo, and George are going to buy some soap. They want charcoal soap.
Okay,
Charcoal soap.
Charcoal soap. We're all over it.
Mentioned your website to everyone, so there's going to be a lot of people buying your soap.
It's all about the hygiene.
Hygiene queens. See, so, and we're doing our podcast together, and that's the other thing I want to give you guys a message.
All right.
Hold on. You stay there.
Go to IQMZ.com, and you can find out more about that, and you can go to the show Raising a Ninja.
Yeah.
And you can go to Hygiene Queen and
let me
get
give you
some
guys
soap.
a message, Uncle Leo.
Yes, a message. Ladies and gentlemen, as is traditional, whenever Owen is on the show, we shall conclude the program with a homily from Reverend Odocta.
So, Leah, a long time ago, my father passed away. Leah was about 4 or 5. And I thought to myself, my dad passed away too young and I was missing out on things. So every year since then, I made videos for Leah in case I happen to pass away. My health isn't the greatest, so that she would have lessons to learn. Friendship, wedding, dating, all kinds of things. And as she progresses in age and I teach her these things, I delete those videos, then I make new videos. And Leah, with the COVID thing going on, has requested that I start teaching her things now instead of having to wait.
In case you get hit by the bug.
So, in case I get hit by the bug. So, we're doing our podcast. We just did one about friendship. We did one where we talk about all the shows we watch. And we're going to be doing more intricate things. I'm teaching her how to cook my personal meals so that she can always have the flavor of the fathers cooking. But we're doing fun stuff over here in these streets. And if anything you're doing while you're sitting at home, I know some of you are frustrated with your spouse or your kids and they're driving you crazy. But one thing that's great is time. You can never get back time. So enjoy the time that you are getting. The extra time you have with your children, you get to impress upon them what you want them to be when you grow up. Because normally you ship them off to school for 8 hours and other kids get to influence them. Take this extra time like it's the summertime and influence them in your family's traditions, in your hopes and dreams for them, and things that you want them to do. And if anybody, again, would like to come by here and save me from having to do all this soap work, I am available for pickup on Amazon Prime, and I will be ready to go as soon as you're willing to come and get me. All right?
Oh,
So,
that almost made me cry as much as Hamilton. Oh.
Well, there we go. Well, say bye to the people.
Thank you, Leah. Thank you, Owen.
Bye.
Oh, thank you all. You guys are great. If I could be quarantined, if I could pick anybody to be quarantined with besides my family,
this would be our house.
This would be our house. Take care, everybody.
Another twit is in the can.
He said it. Bye-bye.
I think I'm like the only person besides you that's on record saying it, and I love that so much in my heart.
You own it, man. You own it. Oh, and now my daughter's calling me. She says, "You want to quarantine with them?" No. Thank you, guys.
Okay,
what a
Abby.
great
Enough
show.
of
That
all
was
this.
fantastic.
That was so much fun.
Oh, man.
Richie, I'm going to be getting your number too, Richie. I got to call you for some quality mental assurance too. So it's not just George.
All right.
I should just
We're
quit.
going to chat it up.
I should just quit right now. I'll never do a better twit than this. Except maybe next week when we're going to do our 15th anniversary episode. 15 years I've been doing this thing. And
I was going to be out there, Uncle Leo, and then the COVID messed it all up. That's so sad for me.
Well, we're going to have the original twits on Kevin Rose, Patrick Norton, Robert Heron next week. This will be a very special This Week in Tech. So I hope you'll join us as we celebrate our 15th anniversary. By the way, normally we have cake, we have balloons, we sing songs, all of which I hate because I think it's silly to celebrate. But this one maybe. But instead, we're going to take the money we would have put into that and maybe throw in a little more. We're going to donate $5,000 to the local relief efforts for COVID-19 in
congratulations,
honor of
Leo.
our 15th. Thank you. Yeah, it's been, I can't wait to congratulate you on your 15th. That's coming in about 15 years.
I'm on it. I'm working on it.
Down. 14 years, 8 months. We got it.
I get a second closer every second.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Say
Have
it
a good
again.
one.
Bye, everyone. That was so much fun.
Another twit is in the can.
Is in the can. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Give him a big kiss here. Mwah. Like the dating game.